How do? It's us again. And my thing isn't working now. Why isn't that working? Oh, for crying out loud. And no, nobody can hear you bullshit. But it's not a very good start, really. Yes, I know it's being shared. What's wrong with that? Okay, the animation for me isn't going to work. Does it work for you, Ty? Say something a second. Yeah, it works for you.
No. Does it work?
Yeah, it works for you. It doesn't work for me.
It's just a bit delayed.
Having a few problems with this at the moment. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I'm having to do a few cheats that I don't really like doing. Ugh.
Alright.
It's all a bit of a mess. I'm not having a fun time of it today. It's that sort of week. I haven't had much time to do anything really. I've been so busy. Oh,
what have you been doing?
Me, well, went filming in Piccadilly. That was quite fun. Or at least near Piccadilly. Me and about 30 essays and probably about 50 in the camera crew. It was ridiculous, the production for that one. So there's something called The Nevers coming up. So that's going to be coming out on the TV soonish. And so they're filming for it at the moment.
Alright.
So they need people to do things. And I do things.
Oh, what, you like a video producer?
No. But, if you imagine, it's best not to say what you do.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Anyway.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound lovely.
Hello. Yeah, I can hear.
I think I know what happened. I had my door open and that took control over my audio interface.
That's what happens. Your door does it.
Yep.
Is that your excuse?
Yep.
That's what you're gonna. That's the excuse you're gonna cling to.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that's how it works.
Okay. Sure thing, bud. Whatever you want.
A door, for people who don't know what that means, is a digital audio workspace. Basically, stuff that the program that you use to write and make songs in.
Hang on a second. Did you actually have all your kit switched on?
What? Yeah.
Just to share a little bit of audio.
What do you mean?
Well, you were saying that your audio equipment, you've got some software in this, or is this hardware?
No, it's hardware.
Weird.
It's just that when you're using something like a door, it takes the focus of the audio interface and uses that exclusively.
That's gonna hurt.
That's why I just use my phone. It's a lot easier.
Greetings, Pascal. Welcome. Can't be asked to turn up. He's probably hammered. How many have you had? Come on. Tell Uncle Rob. What did you do? What did you do? Maggie. So yeah, we did have a title for this place. I was basically, I don't know if you've noticed, but what's been going on in America over the last couple of months, weeks, really? It's just been escalating further and further with Trump. He's gone from obviously just sort of saying, yeah, I'd take information if they handed it to me. That was the original, wasn't it? That was where he stood before. I mean, if they just gave it to me, I'm not going to just throw it away. To the point where he's basically like strong-arming people to actually make up information for him. This is the level that we're at, folks. And it's
depressing to know. It's depressing to know he probably is not going to get voted out because the people who vote for Donald Trump don't really care about that kind of thing.
They do love their lib triggering.
Yeah, they do.
That I noticed.
I was one of them, like in 2016. I was like a full-on Donald Trump trigger the libs, and now I'm like a liberal, and I just like, I think about what the fuck was going through my head back then.
People are swinging wild at the moment these days.
Yeah, I know. I've got a friend actually who's who did took a compass test, and he was right-wing populist, and he's basically me as I was in 2016, and like he hates feminism, and we're having to do.
Sean, whatever you're doing, it's not working. You might want to F5.
I haven't done anything.
Oh.
I hadn't spoken.
What the hell was that noise
Good evening,
then?
anyway.
That was like a connection noise. That's like a
Yeah,
mobile phone thing.
there he
That's
is.
A mobile phone. It's a mobile phone thing.
Now there's a hiss.
That has to be
Technical
muted.
difficulties, folks.
Yeah.
No,
That's not-
that must be Ty. Ty, can you mute for a second?
Yeah, sure.
What on earth?
That's you, mate.
So what? You can't hear anything at all?
I can hear that waves noise.
What
Like
the
the
fuck?
The white noise is coming from you.
That's not coming from me.
I can't hear any white noise.
Press F5, Ty.
I'm on my phone.
Oh, restart your thing. Come back in. Go out and come back in.
Okay, cool.
Let's see what happens. What the hell is going on? I'm gonna refresh. This is weird.
Is that better?
Yeah.
No.
That's the bizarrest thing.
Maybe it's,
Can bullshit, can you still hear it?
No, it's fine now. It was a connection thing.
So bizarre. Anyway. Oh
There we
god,
go.
there it
Coming
goes
back
again. That was Sean. That was definitely Sean.
What?
You're yep.
Yeah, that's
It's
you.
definitely him. What is going on?
What could possibly be causing that?
That's the weirdest fucking thing in the world.
Just broke.
I don't know.
You're
That's
using a mobile phone that's faulty.
no. He's on a computer or something resembling a computer. Jesus.
You're using ISDN dial-up.
Fuck knows. Fucking smoke signals by the sound of it. Talk about noise. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Sean. You're gonna have to work that one out, mate. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Did you see like President Trump's comments on
Impeached President Trump, if you'd like to be correct.
okay. President Trump's comments on the movie Parasite.
Oh god.
Did you see that? It was fucking weird as
Yes.
fuck.
I can.
He seems
I can fight.
he seems to have like a list of every of America's historic allies. He sits there in the Oval Office and goes, "How can I annoy them? How can I annoy them?"
I think it's shallower than that. I think he has like a list of anti-SJW cliches and just uses all of them just to like rally his base.
Yeah. Well, he's a populist, and that's generally what populists do, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, what did
Bolsonaro's
Trump's-
a lot worse.
Yeah,
He does the
what
same
did
thing.
Trump say about Parasite exactly?
He was basically saying, "Oh, why the fuck did someone with a foreign award get a foreign award?" He literally said that.
What you mean? I think was the fact that it got best film, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like he was like saying, "Oh, why should like people from another country get an award that we're giving to them? Should be for like Americans. Oh, bring me back Gone with the Wind. I need a Gone with the Wind because it's much better."
What wasn't Gone with the Wind a foreign film?
I think it was like an American Western.
Gone with the Wind, an American
Wind.
Western.
With a Western.
I can't remember.
Gone with the Wind took.
You're
its
in
set
music,
during
aren't
the
you,
American
mate?
Slavery War.
Yeah, but I'm not in theatre.
Well, it's musical.
Yeah, I'm not in musicals.
Well, it's a film.
Yeah.
It's famous for its racist overtones.
See, Trump wants the movie back because it brings him back to his childhood because he really is that fucking old.
Everyone's just kind of going, American Western, what?
The lady who won Best
Bavarian
Supporting
Western.
Actress was black, and she wasn't allowed to attend the ceremony.
Guns with the Wind.
Released in the 40s, yeah.
Yeah,
That just brings him back to his childhood. That's why he wants it.
Why do like all
I
like,
saw.
right wing like guys want to bring it back to the day of the nuclear family bullshit? I
See,
just
here's
don't
the
get
thing. They claim they want to go back to the 50s, but they never actually told you which 50s.
You know what? You know, some people are saying that Trump is going to lose, but then I look at CNN and it's and 1 hour ago they've posted and it just says, "I've never seen him eat a vegetable."
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh
Trump-
yeah, no
Trump-
fucking
Why is
Trump.
that?
Trump's gonna
Anyway.
fucking drop dead soon. It's
Yeah, they're obviously reporting on the fact that he's going to India and he might have to eat vegetables because there's going to be
No.
they're going to be a bit beef free. This is the state of politics in America right now.
They're distracting from Bernie Sanders' surges.
Who's
Yeah.
they?
oh yeah, he fucking won Nevada so goddamn hard they couldn't even pretend he didn't.
Yeah, it was great looking at their faces, going, they're just like looking at the audience, and they're like, "Oh, Sanders is winning. Oh shit." Shit! Did you see Fox News when they had like a massive like awooga signs and saying "Alert, alert! Bernie Sanders is winning"? Like it was a fucking war room. It was like a fucking war room.
They have that
You know
same
the-
What are they expecting to do with that information? It's like, quick! Like, what? Turn the voting machines faster? What? You know?
Get in the bunker! Get in the
Yeah.
bunker! Socialism is coming.
My favorite part is the fucking election before that, wherein he won, but when they decided to play it off as, "Hey, if you combined these three people, they would have won."
What,
But
you
they
did,
couldn't
like-
do that
like-
in Nevada because
Okay,
he won
Well,
so well.
hang on, guys. This isn't a completely easy sort of situation to look at on this sort of front for Bernie. If he'd got over 50% of the vote, you know, that's a nice slam dunker there. But
He
it's-
got all 10 delegates. No one else got any delegates.
I get you. But we're talking about the vote.
Mhm.
So you got to
He
remember
won
that
49%
it's not
of support.
yeah, it's not just about delegates when it comes to him actually getting out there, you know, at the end of the day. Yes, he got plenty of delegates. Yay for him. Okay, cool. He may win this. But people are going to start dropping out soon. And when they're dropping
Yeah.
out, they're
Mm.
going to start consolidating other votes.
Well, they should like
Well,
seek a position in Bernie's cabinet.
But of course, but
Yeah,
all I'm
the-
saying is that you don't necessarily because the field is so large. It's always quite difficult to just sort of and by the way, don't rub it in people's faces just quite too much.
But
You know?
here's how unrational most of the fucking voters in America are, though. Biden supporters, you know what their second choice usually is? Bernie.
hey,
You know what? Bernie isn't Trump.
Fucking polar
You know, but
opposites.
here's the thing. Bernie isn't Trump, but Bernie fans are Bernie's Trump fans.
I don't get what you mean.
Well,
Bernie
there
fans
is
are
a.
toxic. Like they
There, no, I'm not saying. I
Reddit
wouldn't say.
is flooded
I
with
wouldn't
them.
say toxic. I wouldn't say necessarily toxic because I'll be honest with you. There's toxicity fucking everywhere. Everyone's throwing shit at each other,
It's
and
true.
that's left, right, centre of the Democratic Party, at the Democratic Party, and the delegates of the Democratic Party, and they're just throwing fucking arrows everywhere. So anyone sort of like sitting there, kind of going, you know, you're being divisive. Look behind you. Because most of the people who are saying you're being divisive are the ones being divisive and then accusing the other side of being divisive. It's getting boring. Everyone's
I mean,
accusing the other of being divisive whilst being divisive, or using the accusation of being divisive as a divisive measure.
I have to say, some
okay,
people,
Robin,
like,
we get it. Everything's a paradox.
No, what I'm saying is that right now there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party who don't want to work with each other, who at some point or another are going to have to work with each other.
a lot of people that I'm
Yes,
on
yeah.
that I used to read, like, you know, Glenn Greenwald is a great example. His Twitter feed has become unreadable now because it's so, and also like a lot, not just him, basically everyone from The Intercept is borderline unreadable now for some reason or another, in the same way that the Pod Save guys were unreadable in the wake of the, you know, in 2016 when it was Hillary Clinton's turn.
Abby.
You can't, they're so boring and predictable because the take is always Sanders needs to be president, and it's just,
Well, I can't argue
Right.
with that position, to be honest, because I kind of fully agree with it.
Well, that's fine, but it means that like everything you say, you know, there's like, you know, going after Klobuchar or, you know, some other candidate or some story about, you know, the polls or some other thing. Like it's all filtered. Secular talk has become the same way. It's all filtered through this.
Didn't they see that?
It's very.
Well, okay. The thing with secular talk, and I think that this even stretches out to what's his face? That goes a right Jimmy Dore, that sort of level. They're clinging on to this sort of incredulity sort of fallacy about the Russian meddling thing. They sort of stamped their foot down on this business about the Russian story, and they're like, no, it's all made up. And this is mainly because Hillary has been blaming the Russians for ruining her election.
Not just her, but yes.
Yeah, and so they have a pathological hatred towards her, and they have sort of got themselves stuck in this sort of method. And I suppose it's like a reverse McCarthyism. You know, it's like the Russians couldn't possibly want to interfere with us. Almost, it's like, guys, come on. That's what they did. The problem is that people don't quite understand the Russians, or at least Russia in general. Yeah. They're a nation of needing a strongman all the time. Wanting one, not necessarily needing it, but wanting it.
The thing is, they don't care who wins.
Foreign influence on Bernie Sanders' campaign, but I'm not worried about it from Russia. I'm worried about it from South America.
Anyway, what were you saying there, Ty?
The thing is, the Russians don't particularly care. Like we saw this with Corbyn, and when he got the documents from Russia, they don't really care who wins. What they prefer
is a mess.
A polarized political system that means nothing can get done. Populist who does what populists do and ruin and are incompetent at foreign policy. So, sort of, you've got to keep in mind that Russia isn't pro-Trump, or they're not pro a certain person. They're pro-chaos.
Well, the thing is that's the reason that they're pro-Trump, because he is chaos, basically. Yeah,
and that's why I think they're supporting Sanders, because they know if there's a Senate that on one side is far right wing and the other side is socialist, there's not going to be a lot done, and that's what Russia wants.
But that's up for debate as well this year. You've got to remember there's about 26 other seats that are going at the moment, and I think there's quite a lot of people that are going to be thinking my senator's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So that is up for debate as to whether they actually have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. You see.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an expert on US politics.
Well, if you know at the moment they got the House because they couldn't impeach him. He'd done impeachable things, but the Democrats couldn't impeach him because they didn't have the House. They got voted in to the House. They did their impeachment. They got to the Senate. What happened? The Senate went no. Guess why? Because there's Republicans holding the Senate hostage. So that's another part of this little platform going on here. That is, of course, if those particular states are disgusted enough with their senators to say, basically, you have failed your duties. Really depends if they're willing to say that, if they're up for
and
it.
they drag them through the street, and a woman with like a gown with a bell just starts ringing, shame, shame, shame.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing with the senators is that you're not dealing with how the whole country feels. You're dealing with how the people, in those states feel, and a lot of the people in those states are Trump supporters.
Somebody needs to set up a bot, and what the bot needs to do is every single hour is go to Senator Susan Collins and ask her how disappointed she is at the moment.
Why?
I'm sure she's very disappointed. There's just nothing she can do about it, Robin.
Susan Collins was one of the senators that voted against the censure in any way for Donald Trump at all. Not even a wrist slapping, nothing. Not even a telling off, not a wag of finger. And for some reason or another, Trump felt as if he'd been exonerated. Isn't that weird? She then goes on TV and says, I'm sure he's learned his lesson.
That was the funniest line out of it, wasn't it?
And then, oh Christ,
Sean.
what is wrong with your thing?
What's
Press
going on
F5.
Jesus.
He's the new F5, dude. Press F5. Press F5.
It's not. I don't think pressing F5 is gonna help him.
It's gonna help me.
I'm gonna cancel him. Get out.
We don't have any cancel culture here.
So
It's
tolerant
either
left.
one of you goes or we all go. That's how it
That's the only
happens.
thing that can get you banned from the open house.
We all just hold hands and I explode the screen.
You explode the screen.
Yes, that's what I do with my cock. Anyway,
Thanks for that image
but
in my head.
this is how you've got to keep. This is how you keep your audience happy.
I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah,
I can't
look at him
lie.
go. Look at his little grin.
Gratuitous
Yeah,
sexual
give him a little
discussions. Okay.
give him a little pinch of the cheek. Or... so what were we saying? Yeah, and with Trump doing what he's doing at the moment, it is looking rather desperate for everybody, because there's the recent purge over the last couple of weeks. So there's been
Which purge is this? There've been. This is purge. I lost count of the number of purges.
Is it like the purge on Amazon Prime?
Well, I don't believe that they're actually. No, there are less resources to fight over. So.
Well, basically everybody that testified against Trump.
well,
No longer in the White House.
Or their brother, or
Or their relations, yes. The
Well,
brother who never said a word, but hey ho.
reported on February the 21st. Trump's new personnel chief orders. This is out in the open now. Trump's new personnel chief orders full purge of all never Trumpers from federal agencies.
a full
God.
purge.
Does that mean they're gonna like execute them?
This is
Yeah, they line up against the wall and shot. Again, this is gotta be at least like the 6th purge or whatever.
this is in quotes.
He'll
They're
purge
all
him.
just going to mysteriously disappear.
Perfect.
Well, I don't think it's going to be quite.
Is there gonna be a purge night?
I very much doubt Night of the Long Knives kind of deal. But if you can imagine the idea
They're all gonna
of ideological firings within government sort of things, this is like McCarthyism 101, mate.
Is the
They're gonna
NRA
go on
gonna
a cruise
set
ship
up?
to China?
Is the
What-
NRA
what
gonna set up
about-
an organization?
What about free
to,
speech, though? I mean, it should be free to be against Trump. It's free speech. I thought it was the free speech party. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused now.
Oh, Sean.
Sean.
He's cancelled. Get out.
I'm gonna cancel the open house.
Yeah.
You could.
I think
Cancelled.
Republicans have seem to
be
gonna go.
the best one to do it.
This is what happens
Yeah.
when two Americans are talking, you see. What were you saying, Habib?
Yeah.
I was just saying that I'm gonna cancel the open house because, no, it's just, I don't know what if you're going about like U.S. politics. It's first of all, it's too early to tell who's gonna win. What's so fascinating to me is that Biden's fall so far is fascinating. And yes, he might
Oh
be
yeah,
strong.
that's true. Yeah.
He might be strong in the Carolinas. He still has a lot of support in the West Coast as well. So it's still way too early to tell. But the numbers he's been getting are like way lower than anyone has expected, and that's just fascinating to me. And then you have a guy who just wants to buy the position, and you have a bunch of Democrats, a bunch of centrists too that are railing against, are just like railing for him, like, hey, because Bloomberg, I don't know, it just makes no sense to me.
What I find,
Yeah, and also here's another part that fascinates the fuck out of me is all those people that go like, well, it's vote blue no matter who. Oh, look at that. Hey, Bernie Boris, you have to vote blue no matter who. Wait, Bernie's winning. What about unity? Let's unify because yeah, I don't want to vote Bernie. And there's a lot of yeah, if Bernie wins, we're not even gonna vote. And there's the same people that went like, oh, like vote blue no matter who. and then they go like, well, the Bernie Bros are the ones being divisive. I'll have to just, by the way, I have to say that I'm not 100% Bernie supporter. I still have a lot of things about Bernie that I am not 100% with.
Well, nobody's perfect, are
Has
they?
nothing to do. Has nothing to do with his, his
You
plans with the
you can't expect
economy.
anyone to be perfect, is it? Really, you know.
Yeah. The thing is, like, it has nothing to do with his internal stuff.
It's the amount of
I mean,
imperfections. That's when you start worrying.
It's his foreign policy that I'm not really a fan of, because I've heard that song and dance before. Oh, we're gonna end the wars in the Middle East. We're gonna close all extrajudicial jails. We're gonna, just like make everything nice again. Oh man, do you remember Obama and the way he ran? It's the same message, word by word.
Now, what I find the worst is there's a $25 trillion hole in his plan that he's yet to come up with payment for, and that's just terrifying because that's
How is this whole calculated exactly?
because they calculated how much is
Right.
his whole plan to cost, like the Green New Deal and Medicare.
This is they. They say a lot of things. Who is they?
They is very important.
I'll go find this. I'll go find the statistic and find out if it's
Let's
legitimate or
get
not.
this one dealt with. Let's see if this
I
is
think
incorrect or not.
this they might be like a right-wing think tank institution.
I hope it's not. But anyway,
Probably not.
That doesn't
Right.
necessarily
Yeah.
matter, mate. You can at least have a look at the calculations, and if they've talked shit, then they've talked shit. If they haven't, they haven't.
Well, the way he keeps explaining it, Mr. Bernie Bro, he talks about it by having speculation on Wall Street and using the taxes to pay for anything that he needs.
I mean, the argument, as I understand it, is that it's a net. Like they talk about this is the money that will be spent, but they say that it will be a net increase because they'll be paying less overall for healthcare. So like it will be, it's not like basically that it's not costing money, but it's costing less money than Americans than it does already, except that I guess in this case it's the government that's picking up the tab instead of the
But on
directly.
top of that, you don't get any surcharges for like visits, and you can just go whenever you like, rather than worrying about having to pay for your healthcare. It would just be included within the taxes, and it would be
It's
centralized.
At some point we do need to do something about the fact that we owe ourselves a ballooning pile of money that is obviously never going to be
All countries
taken
are
back.
always in debt.
Yeah, but not the $23 trillion.
Yeah, I mean the deficit and the national debt has to be taken care of at some point, but
And
it's about priorities. It's
You
about
have to
priorities.
gradually
like, what are you
steady
gonna
that down.
prioritize?
You have to gradually slow that down, you know?
Yeah, and besides, like, there's a lot of libertarians. When a lot of libertarians, I hear them talk about it. It seems that there's a lot of stupidity in the libertarian commentary scene, where people just go like, "Yeah, we need like zero debt." Well, yeah, I mean, you have to admit there's a lot of idiots from your side,
Yeah.
and they get very touchy whenever I say that. Yeah, libertarianism is
Your
pretty much
side.
synonymous with retardation.
Yes.
Because it kind of is. When you have it, I mean, I have some friends who are libertarians and they swear by Ayn Rand, and I just go like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you heard of the term lolbertarian?
I mean, yeah, but I think that they're pretty much. You don't need to call them extra names or come up with like memes. They're a meme on themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you libertarian is kind of amusing, but I'd actually sort of prefer it because when people say like, "Oh, a libertarian," I'm more steamed about that. So
I prefer to call them ANCAPs, really.
fuck you.
Because they really are in that sort of... The difference between libertarian and ANCAP is really whatever they've decided their label is that week.
I mean, I know some anarchists actually in some of the circles that I run into, and
Obviously.
some of them are nice people. That some of them are. I mean, nice is
Oh, isn't
not
that
really the
nice?
word. Some of them are. I mean, they really think about what they say. They actually make sense in their own frame of logic. But a lot of libertarians that I meet, they really have no idea how the real world works.
Yeah, no, anarchism is my ideal, to be honest. But I think you can acknowledge
Yeah,
it's not actually a thing that would work. So
I agree 100% because when I was accused of being a liberal, I was accused of being a liberal the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, what makes me a liberal. He's like, well, the guy is like, you want to maintain the states as they are, but give some social services. I'm like, no. You the first couple of words and you already lost me. I don't believe in borders, but I think that they're necessary at this point in time.
Right.
If my ideal world would have absolutely no borders.
Yeah,
Right. Well, I mean,
that's a level of anarchism. The thing is with anarchism, that doesn't involve them having borders or anything. You see.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, I have more respect to anarchists than most of the libertarians that I meet online, because some of the libertarians are just.
No, I'm really
stupid.
proud of. I like that Vermin Supreme is hopefully going to be the candidate. I would be actually quite proud to support him openly. Like last.
Oh, I love Vermin Supreme. I love him.
He's great. It's everything.
He retweeted me a couple of times too.
I'm so I know people like
You're so
they've had a
fanboy.
bunch of goofballs, you know. They've had like Gary Johnson was sort of a pothead and kind of he didn't really seem to want it very much. But it was still better than that insane jackass John McAfee who almost got way too close. So by comparison, Vermin is a breath of fresh air, and I could not be more pleased.
Hey, dude, you've got to reconcile that Dave Rubin was a libertarian with you.
Well, no, I don't. I don't know Dave Rubin, so I don't care.
Dave Rubin.
You and him are buddies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about Dave Rubin.
Yeah, but have you not heard about this this guy that got
libertarian.
this guy that got let off by Trump recently? What's his name?
Yeah, Roger Stone.
Oh.
No, not Roger Stone. There's this other guy. Basically, there's this Democrat. Was he a mayor or something like that?
Yes, Blagojevich, right?
What's his name again? Blagojevich.
Listen, that is really fucking offensive to me. Because I'm Slavic last name and I'm Slavic. So
Well, you're just gonna have to get used to it then.
I just
Hey, Reddit.
That is so unfortunate for you.
Because he's the one who did it first, so complain to Jon Stewart about it, not me.
Jon Stewart.
Anyway, Mr. Blagojevich. Is that the correct pronunciation, or am I basically being anti-Semitic right now? Okay. Yeah, he was basically caught trying to sell various favors of his office to people.
Sounds normal.
Yeah.
Welcome to capitalism, man.
Mm.
You got a product, and you have to sell it.
So,
yes.
Yeah, and he tried to pass it off as what was it? Getting campaign donations. He's like, you're bribing. You weren't. He was literally kind of like money under the table kind of shit.
Yeah, for Obama.
Was he under Obama?
It was
a long time ago. It was quite a while ago. Let me have a look.
In 2011, trying to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat. Called himself,
yeah, he did, wasn't it? That was it. Yeah, he was basically he got Obama's seat, and then he was selling the fucking the rights to his seat to corporate America. What a dude!
Well, it wasn't clear who he was. He was basically going to sell to whoever gave him the most personal benefit. There's a number of interesting things in there that never really made the light of day. The Chicago Tribune at least used to have like all of the audio tapes that they released in the case, because David Axelrod, I guess, is involved in the Tribune and he fucking hates his guts. So there's a lot of really interesting gems in there. Like Jesse Jackson's kid literally tried to buy it. Let's gave him was like, I'll give you $600,000 or something like that if you just give this to me.
Literally a Serb selling his seat in a fucking America. I mean, he's Serbian descent.
He wasn't going to let it. He made fun of him. He thought the guy was an idiot, but he was willing to let it go. But he wanted political favors in exchange rather than like cash money. He wanted to be on the board of some some hospital or some like cushy job where he got $300,000 or $400,000 a year to not do much and got to look like magnanimous, like, oh, I'm helping out with the kids or something. But what was amazing to me was that this just seemed to me like the kind of politics that I expect probably goes on like everywhere. But because it was Obama and Obama was going to be president, the FBI like got their lasers turned on and was like, nope, you're going to jail, buddy. Goodbye. Go on for 10, 15 years. Fuck off.
Rod Blagojevich.
Blagojevich.
Rod Blagojevich. There he is. Okay. Rod. Not Rob. Okay.
Rod.
The guy was like comically corrupt on tape. It was quite humorous. But I actually have a clip of him on Anderson, where if you care, where
I did watch that CNN interview with this guy, and to be honest with you, Anderson wasn't really his professional type that day. He wasn't his cool and calm and collected type. He basically he got to the point where the guy goes, "Is that a question?" He goes, "No, it's a statement." Yeah. And he literally said, "You're a bullshitter," or something like that. Your excuse is utter bullshit to me. And he's like, "Do you want me to answer that?" He goes, "No, it's a statement."
Wait. He was in the TV show The Apprentice.
Oh, yeah, he did work for Trump, I heard. Yeah. So this is possibly the reason he's going in for this.
Look, it's all mob crap, I'm sure. Just as Trump is a mob boss who's in charge of the country, so he's getting his pals off to some extent isn't really surprising. And it's not surprising either that, like, I just see it as rival gangs, basically. The FBI is one gang. We got the Chicago guys is another gang. The New York Trump guys is another gang. And then we got the Sanderdistas trying to influence from out of state, trying to return our system. They're all just a bunch of people with who look very magnanimous with figureheads, and then behind them in the background there's some very shady, nasty characters who are thuggish and like violence. But
the deep state.
I'm not saying the deep state, just people. People.
I love how he's
they're all
he
just
was a
different
half Serb, half Bosnian Serb, and his mother is Bosnian Serb, and his father is Radislav, who is from Kragujevac, which was back then literally a capital city.
Well, reading from the Wikipedia page, it says, under the direction of U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald, Governor Blagojevich, the governor was arrested at his home by federal agents on December 9th, 2008, and charged with corruption. So he was going for his position, Obama's position at the time. Then, he'd just been elected.
Yeah, so that's how it works. It's up to the governor to
appoint. Imagine that, just getting elected, just got elected. And impeach him.
Come on! If you're the governor of any state, you're in that position. You're going to pick someone who's willing to do things that are useful for you. I'm pretty sure anyone in that position is going to do that.
Justice Department complaint alleged that the governor conspired to commit several.
Wiretaps saying that.
Yeah,
for it.
So he committed several pay-to-play schemes, including attempting to obtain personal gain through the corrupt use of his authority. To fill the United States Senate seat vacated by Barack Obama following the election as president. Claiming that in wiretap recordings, he discussed his desire to get something in exchange for an appointment to the seat. After various outreach efforts, he appointed former state Attorney General Roland Burris on New Year's Eve 2008. Burris was seated after some initial opposition in mid-January 2008. The trial was set for June 2010. So the moment there was some impropriety, they got rid of it.
Yeah, basically. Well, it was funny because there was a whole back and forth where I think it was not Axelrod, but the other guy, Rahm Emanuel, apparently was trying to get it to be Valerie Jarrett. They wanted Valerie Jarrett to be the senator, but Valerie Jarrett didn't want to be the senator, and it was all because Rahm Emanuel wanted Valerie Jarrett out of the White House because he thought that she had too much influence on him. At least this was all stuff that he said, according to conversations he had with people. He may have been making stuff up, but I don't know why. It seems a little too elaborate, and it all tracks with my understanding of the personalities at play. So that was basically it. He got mad because Obama's people were like, we would like it if you would nominate such and such. And he was like, what the fuck? Where's my quid pro quo? Give me something. Why should I do what you want? And he wouldn't. And so the FBI and arrested him.
It's a funny that in 2009 he wanted to. He was so impressed by Oprah Winfrey influence on Barack Obama election that he considered offering Obama's vacant Senate seat to Winfrey. Oprah the senator. Holy shit. At least people will get more free cars, I guess.
Oh, by the way, guys, I put in a really important tweet in the sidebar that you need to see.
Okay.
Read it out to me.
I don't see it in the sidebar though.
I can paste it again if you like.
Yeah.
There
Yeah, I
you
did
go.
some.
I think that my chat doesn't work.
Your chat sucks. Anyone else see it?
I'm not looking. I refuse.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can describe it.
Morally
To you.
opposed.
So, basically, it's got like a photo of a guy, like with a like a rag on his head. And
Wow.
He's very
Little bit
like
racist.
stressed. He's very he's very stressed. He's very stressed out, and he's got a choice to make. He's got to put his finger on two buttons, yeah. And one of the buttons says kids in cages and a white supremacist in the White House, and the other button says universal healthcare. He just really doesn't know which one to choose.
Oh, right,
That
okay.
old meme.
That's not really the choice, though.
It is.
No, just because you get Bernie Sanders doesn't mean you're going to get universal health care. You still have to get the House and the Senate if you're going to get something that radical pushed through.
Yeah,
Good
people are believing. People are believing.
Don't stop believing.
Believing. Hold on to that feeling, yeah.
He's feeling. Listen to him. He's feeling the burn.
I'm feeling the burn right now,
Yeah.
mate.
Oh boy.
If you get a doctor to see that, mate.
I got plenty of doctor. His name's Dr. Dre, and he helps me out quite a lot. Like,
I used to have a guy called Dre. He'd deliver to your door.
Sweet.
He was my doctor.
Deliver pizza, right?
Did he make sick beats too?
Yeah, he had a pretty sick car, that's for sure.
Tinted windows, of course.
The whole deal, man. No, it's a beautiful vehicle, absolutely beautiful. He's always showing off his stereo. You're like that really, really deep voice, overly deep voice. Even for he was a really short guy as well, so it was really weird.
My name's Little John.
But yeah, there's obviously the letting off of people, but then there's the open bribery and letting off of people. So let me just go into that one, because that's just happened this week.
At this point, nothing surprises me. I mean, like, apart from like he secretly declared war on like Canada, nothing would like surprise me from Trump anymore. Like, he could do literally nothing. I'd just be like,
stop giving him ideas. I swear. I mean, everyone's just kind of going, what's the stupidest thing he could do? And he's like, oh, that'll do.
I saw a thread about Grimmel, this guy who Trump is going to have as the acting head of Office of National Intelligence. And people were like, we should be thanking our lucky stars that someone with this much, presentation and who's sort of a professional. Imagine if it was, and then 5 like absolutely horrible people who he could easily pick, and it was just like, he's going to pick someone else for the actual post, right? Why don't you shut up? Stop talking. Stop it.
some bit jaded.
It's mental.
It's like you could be because I guess he wanted to be Doug Collins, and Doug Collins was like, no. But it was like, oh yeah, they could nominate Rudy Giuliani. It was like, shut up!
Oh my god! Can you imagine?
Do not write that. What is wrong with you? Keep that thought in your head forever.
Isn't Giuliani going to
Do
prison?
not put that on the internet.
That would trigger me. Oh, brilliant!
Sometimes.
Giuliani could go to prison, but Trump could always pardon him.
That's pardoning is a kind of bullshit.
Carry on talking, guys.
Yeah.
Technically,
US
our
politics.
queen could pardon people, but she rarely does, because that's stupid.
I mean, she's so old, she probably forgets who she should pardon in like 5 minutes.
To be fair,
No. Actually, the Queen of England is like she's more aware of her like mental faculties than Trump right now. Well, he's ever been.
and frankly, more to
Her
the point.
age, it's depressive.
And frankly, more to the point, when it comes to our political system and the monarchy, the Queen really knows to just step back. She doesn't really take a side in anything. She just does whatever her ministers say.
I think that the Queen probably
Yeah.
has trouble making her breakfast.
She doesn't make her own breakfast though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She probably has like difficulty like putting cornflakes in a bowl.
Why are you making the Queen is lovely, and also it's ageist to make fun of someone who's old. Just because
The Queen is a
and
scrounger.
ableist. Well, it's very rude. You
Queen,
should
the
apologize.
Queen is a scrounger, and that is not ableist because if I'm not. Yeah,
So
You're
be,
graciously given a royal stipend. What
So-
are you gonna problem
so-
with that? Take over
so-
the family, rustle them out.
so be
I want
great-
them out.
Regicide.
What you do is you do
Burn down the mansions.
in order for you to cure this issue, what you need to do is get yourself a knighthood. That's what you need to do. And what
You
you,
work your way in the system and then debunk the system.
what you
Get the
do is
system out
you
there.
get and then when you get yourself a knighthood, and they send you a letter and it says, "Would you like to accept a knighthood?" You say yes, and then as she gets out the sword and puts it on your shoulder, you move your shoulder out of the way. It falls over. Yeah, she obviously leans forward as this happens. You pull it a little bit, grab that sword, and chop her head off. And then now you are king.
Self-defense.
All I'm gonna say is, if you think
That's
the
how it
Queen is a-
works, isn't it?
all I'm gonna-
Isn't
all I'm
it?
gonna- All I'm going to say, if you think the Queen is a scrounger, be happy for Harry and Meghan then.
Then-
I am happy for
I
Harry
have-
and Meghan, sort of, but they're like set for life because of the family still.
I know.
It makes no difference to them.
I know.
I have only one tip for Harry. Just don't go to the weird driving places.
I think the reason why Harry
That's very
separated himself,
specific.
Harry separated himself because
quite
of his
vague, I thought.
paedophile uncle.
No,
Yeah.
look,
Wow.
no,
that's sort of-
Shut up. No, look, my mum loves the royal family, so she's always watching documentaries on them. I can tell you, Harry has never really liked being part of the royal family, just in general. He's never liked the idea of it. It's very frank. I mean, even when he was in the military, there were even situations where cameras
the
could go
Blue
into his
Dwarfs.
military. Shut up! There was a time
He
where
gets very upset.
Harry was even cameras were even brought into his base, and he'd actually point to his friends and say, "That's bitch one and that's bitch two. Nothing like a prince at all." I think he's just never really liked the idea of being a prince more than anything.
I mean, who would? I mean, that same family killed his mother.
Well, let's be honest.
Oh, dear.
He's not really 100% in that family.
Yeah, hashtag
There's not-
abolish the monarchy.
Well, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not really a lot of gingers in that family.
Yeah.
I mean,
Come on,
uh,
let's.
I think Diana
let's-
might have had a little fling with
Yeah,
a certain.
You know,
yeah.
you know the weirdest
Certain
thing.
driver.
You know the weirdest thing. Frankie Boy once did a joke on Mock the Week, and he did Wheeling You sort of thing, and he had.
You're going to
Princess
fuck this
Diana.
joke up, aren't you?
No, And look, I'm just trying to explain to Jay. I mean, it was Princess Diana, and he was saying how you see that memorial service. That was nothing about Princess Diana. Wasn't about music. One couldn't have been something like she was about, like staging a gangbang in the middle of a minefield. Now, the weird thing is, I understood the gangbang part. I didn't know what the minefield was about until I actually had to ask my dad what's about. That's how much I knew about Diana and cared.
See what I mean? Just the timing. All the timing is off. You know? Just fell like a brick.
Hey, it is what it is.
That's the sound of silence.
Wait. Who has marching band in his background?
A marching band?
Yeah, that's probably me. It's
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, I've got the marching band music on again. Because that's what happens in your house.
No, it's carnival, and the community building is right down the street from me.
Oh, you have a community. That's upsetting for
Yes.
God, those are unpleasant
It's
things.
fun.
you. They keep on asking you to do things.
Yeah.
It's as I said, it's a carnival thing. It's a Dutch thing.
This is why I don't leave the house. No one knows who I am.
Yeah.
James
I'm
Hewitt is
inside
not.
the house
James
right now.
Hewitt is not Harry's dad. That has not been proven by a DNA test. He does care about Prince Harry, as do we all. Just a little more than
Are you
everybody
being
else.
paid? Are you a shill for the monarchy?
Well, we've all got mums, mate.
You've been.
Who the hell is James Hewitt anyway?
He's just a very nice rugby player.
Oh, okay.
A bloke, yeah.
Who ingratiated himself with the royal family.
Okay.
Or at least with one
this is
royal.
just some British thing about your royal house that nobody should know inside England, let alone outside it.
Well, let's say he may have spoiled the royal line a little.
Oh my, they're not as inbred as we think.
They're slightly less.
I
inbred
mean,
than
they
you
need
think now.
to add a little bit of a fresh gene pool to that.
Oh, you mean like a bit of colour? Like a bit of Meghan Markle?
No. If she's good now, we have to bring her out of the country.
Is it weird that I genuinely didn't know Meghan Markle was black, even with looking at her?
No, she
What?
for white.
Yeah, she's half.
I mean, hell, Barack Obama is called black as well. And
I consider that, yeah.
just
I
be
really
tanned.
I really just did consider that a mild tan, to be honest with you. I've seen worse in East London. You know?
Did you just say worse?
Yeah, but this is
Well, when I say worse, I mean orangier.
this is
know?
that great replacement bullshit. Everybody, you're only pure white if you have 10 generations of
Well,
white.
if she's a person of color, then so is Trump. Let's say that.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But at least her tan is even.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can't
I'm
use
pretty sure
your
Trump's a racist of
spray
his own.
tan on yourself, you know? It has to be an actual, like, you know...
Do you know
have to be
why?
born with it,
Yeah,
not sprayed on.
this is the thing. You see, I know why his tan is so bad. I know why. Because look, this man has no friends. Look, he will walk upstairs with a tissue on his shoe. There is nobody prepared to say, oh, you know, there's a problem here. You know, nobody's there. They're all reactive. They're all waiting for him to complain. They're not interested. They just want to get whatever they have to do done and then get out of the way. And I mean, if you were a lady who was basically paid, and it would have had to have been a lot of money to spray tan Donald Trump in his pants, yeah, you'd need a lot of money there. And you'd want to get that job done as fast as possible.
Bad mental image again. Bad.
Yeah. Because what happens is, you
Thanks
see,
for that, Robin.
what happens is they stand. What they do is they stand you in this really tall tent, okay, that's sort of like waterproof on the inside.
Oh, you're gonna go on, aren't you?
And then a girl has to kneel in front of this, basically this, well, like a frog hanging up, off a branch, kind of look of a man, and just sort of hose it down with an orange spray thing, and just get it over with as fast as you can. You just keep going, just keep going, just don't look. And then eventually they're like, that's enough. It's like, thank fuck.
I mean, it depends on the money. I would spray tan Trump.
By the way, Robin,
yeah, the reason it.
See, that Bakura, that's comedy timing. Anyway, carry on.
Well, Pascal is saying something directed at you. I have no idea what you're talking about. That text at the bottom right is hard to read, Robin.
I know.
On YouTube.
I know. It's to annoy people who hate fonts.
Ah.
I was going to say the reason Donald Trump's spray tan is so mismanaged because the girl that closed her eyes when she was doing. She's like, I can't look.
Yeah, I can
Looks
imagine.
away and
I
just
can very much
sprays
imagine.
in the general area.
Yeah, it must be sort of somebody spraying mace at something very close to them.
A tattoo artist could be a Trump supporter. You don't know.
Oh, it could. Well, yeah. I mean, it's that level of incompetence. Yes, I just said it, Trump supporters. You're incompetent.
Well,
Soon.
they are.
Robin,
right.
this requires them to be able to plug in headphones.
I was rude to you. I know how that must really grind.
I see them as walking raisins.
I love it when I was talking to somebody on Twitter today who had really they didn't like the fact that somebody who was being xenophobic was being called a xenophobe, and then they start talking about free speech, and I'm like, mate, I don't know if you noticed, but you're having issue with the word xenophobe.
You mean like the quartering right now having a meltdown over...
I was just going to say...
They're always having a meltdown though, aren't they?
Yeah, but this time over...
Quartering, the guy who reads the article, the YouTube channel.
He doesn't read. He just doesn't read at all.
He reads? He can read?
So speaking of Richard Dawkins...
Hey?
Yeah. Yeah, eugenics is cool again.
Yeah, apparently.
If you're not pro-eugenics, you're a cock now, at least.
What? A cuck? Is that what we're going with?
I don't know.
It's 2018?
We're like 2015. That insult hasn't been cool for a while. Though I do still use it on occasion.
Well, we've got to keep up with the kids, man.
Yeah.
It's an actual it's like a proper term. It was in my psychology textbook.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Hang on. Let me find the definition. Hang on. It's in relationships, so.
All right. Keeping up with the kids. Keeping up with the 30-year-old kids.
This is going to be fun, isn't it?
Right. Hang on. Where is it?
We're going to listen to him turning a page now.
All this time I thought it was just all channels not understanding what cuckold meant.
I know what it is. Hang on.
I've used it to describe Democrat senators that are backing Michael Bloomberg despite Bloomberg giving money to Republicans to defeat them in their earlier elections.
Right, I'm going to the contents because I can't find it because I didn't highlight the text. Yeah.
I don't think that's the dictionary definition, though.
Bloomberg's a bit of a poison pill as far as the DNC is concerned.
Little bit. Bloomberg is fascinating to me because I've had someone on Twitter was like, Bloomberg is a garbage human who will not get anywhere. He was dead last in all of the contests. He has no support. And I was like, man, I'm sorry, but you're missing the forest of the trees. You clearly don't understand his strategy. You're looking at the wrong thing. He got on the ballot, or he got a percentage in states where he wasn't on the ballot. He doesn't care how little support he gets. All he cares about is that he's on the map, so that he's gonna, if he can get 18% whatever on Super Tuesday, then he can get a whole a stupid amount of just by spending a bunch of ads on Monday, he can get a lot more, than he deserves, and then he can show up at the convention with enough delegates to take it away from all the other moderates, and then that sort of forces the brokered convention, and then it's smoke-filled room time, which is of course Bloomberg. That's his arena. That's entirely where he's going to play out. He's just going to tell the people who actually the super delegates, look, I have all the money, I will spend it on you, vote for me to be president, and they will say okay, because that's what they always do.
Here we go, I got it. So it says mate guarding. So males fear being cuckolded, where another male gets their partner pregnant and spending resources raising another male's child.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's the actual definition.
Oh, I didn't know pregnancy was involved. I thought you just had to watch the other person do.
No, that's the kink. It's they call it. It's the same name for it, but that's the kink.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more exhibitionism sort of thing.
Okay. Huh.
Really? That's why.
It's why. Let's say sharing is caring. Whereas obviously too much sharing is scaring.
Oh, there was a really funny story here that happened with the guy who didn't know that he was in celibate, found out that he was in celibate, but he had the 3 kids.
He found out he was in celibate.
Yeah, but
I need this explained in great detail. I need maps.
So he's like 55 years old guy.
No, but finding out you're in celibate.
Wait.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure if you know what in celibate means.
I mean, he's been cuckolded.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Mistake. Celibate is when you cannot have offspring.
No.
So that's reverse.
That's sterile, mate.
Yeah, sterile or infertile.
Don't take the piss. The guy's speaking a second language here, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I understand.
So does Habib. He can still talk English fine.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Are you sure?
How's your Slovakian, Bakura?
Wrong language.
It wouldn't have really mattered. He's English, mate. He won't learn any language at all. I could ask him French. I could ask him German. He won't have learned a word apart from a swear word with a Chinese person, probably. That's it. That's the most you're going to get out of us. Have you noticed nobody is actually saying that that's wrong? See?
He got inside.
Yeah. We're a belligerent bunch.
It's not wrong if it's funny. That's my general rule.
We've barely got hold of meters and kilometers. I can barely even say it. But anyway, yeah. So you mean sterile? He was unable to have children.
Yeah, he was sterile, but he didn't know. He was like 50-something years old, and kids were like, "Hey, Dad, let's do the DNA test."
Oh.
To see where we are from. And he was like, "Okay." They ordered that DNA testing, and results came, and he's like infertile, to be exact. That is the other word that I wanted to use. So
why do I have children?
Yeah. Then kids DNA testing came, and oh my, he sued his wife at the end.
He sued him.
Yes, no, he sued his wife.
I'll bet.
For all the damages, because hey, listen, these are not my kids. I mean, they are now because, like, I live with them 20 years old, but genetically, they're not. And you lied to me like a fucking pathetic bitch.
Well, there's that.
So
obviously
they left.
left.
Good thing of like this modern cheap DNA testing.
We'll call that irreconcilable differences. That's going to be that's a oops.
Well, not just one, but 3 kids.
Gee.
Oops.
Wow.
God damn it.
That's quite funny, though, to be fair.
Let's be honest.
Oh, that's funny.
The thing you've got to ask yourself is, mate, I mean, you're a dad. Do you like your kids? Yeah? Nah?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't, it's great because you can just fuck off and leave them.
I mean,
Like is a very
yeah.
strong word. I mean, just go for a cigarette, you know.
You don't have any kids.
You cannot like them because they're not yours. But
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why you don't have any kids.
Somebody said it best to me. He went, I'm okay with my own kids. And somebody said, how many you got? And he goes, none.
Exactly.
Yeah, I support that.
That's the
Yeah,
responsible way.
It makes it hard to be, an advocate for the white genocide when you don't want to have kids as a brown dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not fighting for the cause.
Let's be honest, mate. There is enough of you out there.
Yes, and then you have people like Carl making videos saying how there are propaganda posters saying they're trying to encourage vasectomies and this is anti-family. Okay, Carl, here's something interesting. I'm pursuing one. I looked into it. It's actually very hard to get one if you don't already have a family.
Yeah, and like, yeah, family planning is like, I mean, with these kind of reactionaries, they keep parroting what Islamists keep saying. Like, where before they started selling condoms to non-married people. I mean, when condoms were first introduced here, like, remember that was early 80s. It was, you had to be married to get one. Otherwise, they'd be like, why are you having sex? Get out of here. Sex, I thought marriage is illegal. As activists and a lot of political commentators, even some Islamists were like, well, it's better for them to have safe sex than not safe sex, even if it's haram. And people are like, no, this is going to destroy the family. It will destroy the... And yeah, now you have reactionaries like Carl parroting the same stuff that even Islamists stopped saying back in the 90s because they were like, yeah, we're progressed far enough where even Islamists were like, yeah, that's kind of silly. That's too aggressive, even to a Wahhabist. I mean,
wow.
That's truly based.
I know.
no, the thing is, like, again, if you want to have any kind of vasectomy as you have your own personal right to do what you want with your body.
Sharia of a card.
Can I just confirm it? Are you saying that Carl is more reactionary and more insane than Islamist Muslims now?
Well, he's not beheading gays, so...
In a lot of respects, yes.
Wow.
I'm feeling that there's a certain bit of hyperbole there. But...
yeah, there is.
Yeah, I admit that.
Honestly, who cares if you're wrong?
Like, I would not be surprised if I mean, he keeps supporting like the worst of the worst every single time. So
he's already slowly gone down the point of referring to pornography as degeneracy now.
Oh God!
Oh God! See?
So he must be watching a lot.
Is he
of porn
going the
right
Christian
now.
route? Is he becoming Christian?
What, is he going to Dave Cullen? Is he going to Dave Cullen? That's the big
would
question.
not be surprised. I'm sure I think he has done some content.
Let me put it to you this way. Let's just forget about all the teachings of theology and just go with what scientific consensus is these days. Climate change. You would be hard pressed to find an Islamist that denies climate change. On the other hand, Carl, let's talk about climate change for a little bit.
Wait. Are you talking East and West? Because I know that I found memory TV bullshit about how climate change is propaganda.
Memory TV, as much as I mean, they're not the worst when it comes to propaganda, but they keep finding the worst of the worst. And their targets are very few people that keep recurring over and over again. But if you would take memory seriously, it would be like me going like, oh, all white people are racist. And I keep referring to, Melania Bowes and Bill O'Reilly.
Shit like that,
These are my only two examples, and be like, well, white people are racist. Look at these two white people. It's the same kind of thing. They're not the worst though. If you read the website Heart, that's the worst propaganda website that is against Muslims. Because Heart makes shit up. At least memory, they just have clips and translate them.
Have you seen the argument? Maybe I don't know if this is an America only thing or if this has been exported other places, but that in fact you cannot be racist by definition against white people because white people cannot be discriminated. You can't have be the victims of racial oppression because they are the ones in power. It is literally impossible for them to experience it.
I need to.
Surely depends on the country.
No, it depends on the context and like here's the thing, that you can be racist against anyone and everyone. There's no such a thing as a person who cannot experience racism against them. Like that, it's not a thing. However,
the very concept of entertaining race, the very the entertaining of the concept is racism.
Robin, let me continue. Have you read Cornel West's Race Matter? Or Race Matters, sorry. Race Matters by Cornel West. That's a good book to read. And also, I talked to a couple of black people that actually enlightened me on that a little bit. This gentleman that I met from San Diego, he was just here for a little visit. And he's like, we started talking about politics and, race relations, because whenever I meet a guy, I mean, that guy was like old as shit. I mean, he's older than Bernie Sanders, for crying out loud. He's here to visit his grandkids, literally. So it's like, yeah, you lived in the civil rights era. I wanted to know firsthand from someone, and he's like, and what he told me was to understand what the black community's identity is, and what racism means to us, is to have fried chicken in a black restaurant. Because and I was like, what? It sounds silly, but let me continue. Why did they make fried chicken the way it is? It's because it was the leftovers, the wings, the necks, the skin. Nobody wanted to eat that, and they made a dish that became an American not delicacy, but an undefined dish for American cuisine. Fried chicken, KFCs everywhere in the world, and that came from black culture. The same thing with pig legs.
Well, it's not really black culture as such. It's sort of like imposed culture, if you will.
It became a culture that they adopted because they didn't know what their roots were. Like they didn't have any sort of like folk tales or whatever.
That's kind of a running motif. That is kind of a running motif when it comes to this of taking something that was basically meant as basically that's all you deserve. Like using the word nigger. Yeah. It was basically turned around,
Robin, as I was saying, and the thing is, for me as a Saudi guy, and for a lot of white people out there, they don't know the feeling of that part of their culture, part of their identity is something that was trash by the rest of the world, and they made something out of it. And that maybe I get it. Like when people go like, well, white people cannot experience racism, it's because they cannot experience that kind of prejudice against them that put them in that position where it's their very identity comes from the leftovers of their masters.
Yeah, but that is a degree though. This is the thing that everyone has to understand, that racism is really, I mean, even at its loosest term as such, on a scientific level, it's just made up. Okay? So it's not even a real thing. This is the difference between a Labrador and a slightly different Labrador, as far as the dog motif is concerned. And this is what people are arguing about.
Like I said before, there's no one on this planet. Like there's no certain person that'd be like, you as a guy or a girl, you cannot experience racism when it's against you. I said that from the beginning.
Yeah.
But there is, like I said, a degree. Like there's
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, is people. A lot of people just don't understand about that degree business. That's the thing.
I don't like. I think the idea of white people and is a very sort of modern term. Like if because I'm half Irish and I've been looking back into Irish history, and in Britain, instead of segregation against black people, it was segregation against Irish. You'd hold up a sign outside your pub and say, no dogs, no dogs and no Irish. And that was just the standard in all of Britain. And then they go all white people, and it's just it's wrong. The idea of there being white people
let me try
is
to
wrong.
explain to you what we. Okay, I mean,
I can explain.
For me, when I talk about race and the term white man comes along a lot, especially with a lot of Africans. I'm not saying like African Americans or Africans that were just dragged into slavery. I talked to a lot of people from Cameroon. Like my roommates are from Cameroon, and a lot of Asians too. And they refer to, like, the word white man doesn't mean every single white man. It just means the white colonials. And they might have come from France, like Cameroon. They might have come from America. They might have come from Britain. But to a lot of those communities, to a lot of those countries, it was just like people who are white and came in with guns and fucked shit up. So the term just became like an umbrella term to all colonial powers coming to a non-white country and fucking shit up. Just the white man. And trust me, like, and when you talk to, at least the people that I talk to, maybe you'll find some exceptions, I'm sure. Like, you'd find some exceptions online too, like people who are so vitriol about it. But for most of us, when we meet an actual white person, we'd be like, yeah, there's nothing against you. Like, he didn't come and enslave anyone. He's just a white dude. But yeah, the white man is a term like that describes a certain group of people historically that came in and fucked shit up, and we just refer to them as the white man.
I suppose it's one of those terms that sort of it's one of those things that it's just so broad, it's meaningless. And I suppose I can never understand what it's, obviously the way you describe white man, but anyway.
For me, it's much more funnier when people tell me shit like, "Oh, you don't understand that you're a white male."
That annoys the fuck out of me.
I live in a fucking Eastern Europe. I live in Eastern Europe, not Eastern Europe, the Balkans, the worst of the worst, the shittiest of the shit. I mean, I can go and find landmines in my country, no problem.
Well, this is but this is the difference here. Is that imagine you're in that situation for no other fault of your own, but because of the color of your skin, and there are other people around you that are fine.
No, I understand.
Because of the color of their skin, that's the difference.
But the difference is, it's not color of the skin, but difference is we had all that shit because our religion or ethnicity.
Yeah,
so it's pretty similar to the racism.
Well, it's discrimination. It's simple. It's
discrimination.
Can I just say one thing? Like, I don't want this to be dragged into another one of those like Oppression Olympics. I mean, it was a meme back in 2014. Yes, it's good to talk about oppression, and it's something that I kind of I fell into that trap with the anti-SJW days of 2014 and beyond, where talking about oppression was bad because, oh no, you're just being a snowflake. Actually, it's good to talk about those things when you're not being vitriolic against other people. Like, I can sit here and talk with Robin about how white people just fucked the entire region here up, or how they fucked Africa, or they fucked this and that. Yeah. And I love Robin to death. That's the thing. Like,
I don't defend it that much because I can't.
Yeah, and again, like, you can talk about how the Saudis fucked a lot of like Europeans up with oil money, and how they fucked the Americans up with the oil money. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm okay with that. We can talk back and forth.
Because it's none of our business. It's not our doing. We didn't do it. It's not us. It's somebody born in the same country as us.
It's not just that, Robin. What I think it's more valuable is because when you start opening up about these things, you start understanding where other people come from when they go like, well, I just hate blank white people, Africans, whatever. You just go like, why? And you start understanding where they come from and why those prejudices existed. And if you just stop talking about it, it's not going to go away. You have to talk about it. You have to try to understand why those things exist.
Yeah.
Can I just raise?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
What I wanted to say to, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, Alexa from.
Yeah, it is Alexa.
The difference between you and a black person is that if you remove yourself from that situation and somebody looks at you, they still see a white person. If you do that to a black person, they still see a black person.
No, well, for him, they would hear his accent, for example, if he was in a different country.
And call me Ruski. But yeah, it's not everything. It's not just about look. let's put it like we're not all deaf mutes that we're not deaf mutes or anything else. People look at something to pick up. Some people, not everybody, of course. I had a really fun moment in Croatia, but again, like I said, Croatia is I met a lot of nice people in Croatia who were totally nice and let me live with them like I'm their brother. And that was really fucking nice, and I really had a blast in Croatia. But I went to Croatia to buy a train ticket to Serbia. And I asked for the train ticket in Serbian, not thinking that they have a slightly different word than us. And she said, no, there is no train in Serbian word. She said it in Croatian, and I just stood confused. And then she said it in Croatian, yeah, but we have Croatian train. And I was like, yeah, I need that. And then the ticket seller next to her told me, hey, Chetnik, come here, I will sell you the ticket. Which is, again, it is quote-unquote derogatory, but it's a much more comically, she said it comically because she got pissed off at her colleague. But, like, the thing of, like, moving that, Serbia was 6 centuries under the Ottoman Empire. Whiteness was a bad thing back then. So bad that they would probably take your first child and make it into a janissary, and in 20 years he will probably burn your village.
Which is nice.
Which is totally nice.
This is why I think white people is so
white people and like, okay, I am white. I'm pretty fucking
This is an America thing, guys.
Yeah,
this is an America thing.
It is American,
you know?
but don't address non-Americans in American.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't listen to the people on Twitter complaining about being white. How they're white.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed to be white right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to disconnect what the real world thinks from Twitter. That's why I kind of hate most of like social media driven activist groups, because in the end of the day, they're all about clout, and none of them really care about helping actual people.
Do you know what it? Do you know what it is for me? Do you know what? For me, it's the cross between hyperbole and skateboarding. That's what it feels to me. Hyperbole and skateboarding. They're like kind of going, yeah, wicked air on that insult, man. You know?
Either
Do you know what I mean?
Habib, Habib, you're
potential to just crash out and wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Either way, Habib, you're gonna get people
a
saying, "Don't you
no
care about
scope
me too?"
insult. You know.
Seems crazy. Like, why get on the plastic wafer with wheels? Why do that? It seems like a mistake. I mean, you could just not do that, but instead you went and did that. Okay, I mean, I hope it works out for you, bruh. Like,
do you want to?
I see the similarities.
Do you want me to explain the whole every white person is racist thing?
Sure.
It just even saying that just annoys me on like a fundamental level.
Well, it will annoy you, but like
anyway, say it.
It's an American thing mostly.
Yeah,
that explains it.
But it is against like colonialists as well, I presume, because of that's where it starts from.
White people colonized other white people. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. Yeah, but that that whataboutery doesn't like change the fact of where this is coming
Karen,
from.
say your thing. I'm saying why I don't like the. Anyway, carry on.
So, where this comes from is the idea that, and the truth that America was built on the back of slaves. So, all the hard work and labor that
eating right now.
Me, yes.
All the hard work that the black community put into establishing a hierarchy between them has always been racist, and the gap has never been closed because of 200 years of slavery. So the average, the mean of like people's income and the equality that needs to be fixed is always been there. So white people always benefit from the past of slavery, and that's why people who do not recognize that are racist.
But that's very America-centric.
Yes,
and
definitely.
again, you had the regions of America where white people didn't profit from the slaves, like North.
But it's one of those things where it doesn't
And the
apply-
North
it doesn't
freed the slaves.
Listen to what he said. He said the entire country was built on the back of slavery.
I mean, yeah.
So in other words, if you imagine, if you were never taxed for anything,
yeah,
there's all this
you're
stuff
right.
being built up for your shit, is it really you are benefiting from it just because you didn't pay for it either?
Can
we also?
It's a systemic criticism.
Yeah,
it's a systemic criticism because
Hey,
the way
one
the way
more
the
thing.
system is set up, has always benefited from the foundations of America being put by slavery. So people and there's lots of ingrained racism in America where, for example, in this book called The Color of Money, if white people find out that a black person is living next to them, they'll move, and they won't say why.
Definitely not a generalization.
I know why, because if another black person moves in, the price of their house goes down.
That's what. Yeah.
Well, and the reason and the reason that happens is, of course, is that when somebody is there, they move.
Yeah, and so when a black person moves into the neighborhood, into like a suburban area, they look at it as a devaluation on their own house, so they move, and they're incentivized by the system to be racist. There's one example. There's many other examples.
Prison system.
Rick has been trying to say something for a while now.
Sorry.
Yeah. We should also acknowledge that we in Europe have benefited from a lot of slavery and empires as well. I mean, a lot of our current wealth is still comes due to empire days or the colonial times. That's where a lot of our wealth is based upon, from taking wealth away from those countries and bringing it to our countries.
I was wondering
There's a systemic problem here as well.
I was wondering
you
where
mean
Britain's
UK?
placed in that, because I was wondering where Britain's
have-
placed in that, given we abolished the slave trade.
Oh, sorry, I have a perfect picture for
We
that.
abolished it, but that doesn't mean that we didn't benefit from it.
Oh, I'm not denying that, mate.
Yeah, I mean, as far as us, we kind of made it, rather than enslaving, individuals, we decided to enslave entire countries. So, sort of like had a few middlemen in the way.
Yeah, I mean, when the English took over India, look at the mining business there and how they just literally worked people to death. They didn't enslave people in the UK per se, but
you were free if you managed to step on our shores. That was the trick. That was the ticket.
Main point is, do you understand it from that perspective? That would be like what people would be saying to justify that. And also, it doesn't apply to people who are not perpetuating it. If you're not perpetuating it, then the people who say that don't have a problem with you. They have a problem with people that just don't recognize it and don't do anything about it.
Well, thanks for explaining that.
You're welcome.
Still think it's very America-centric.
It is America-centric, but
Well,
there are caveats to other countries too.
You can add it.
Well, I'm saying it's mainly going to be in the last maybe 100 years or so. Because you've got to understand, there's these effects do last for centuries, especially if they've carried on for centuries. So the British slave trade didn't just stop for years and years and years, and then the Americans stopped. They were just a little further along than us. That's all.
Pascal wrote something funny. Everyone is perpetuating it because you're all implicitly racist, so might be as well call everyone a racist.
But I don't understand the whataboutery of ignoring. It's like the whataboutery of ignoring the actual problem. I don't get
It's
that.
also, just look at where all the treasures in the National Museum in Britain, in London, come from. They're not British treasures.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean the ones in the U.S. as well. Like Europe and the U.S. pretty much bought the entire treasury of Egypt at one point.
Yeah, and that's fucked up, actually.
And they bought it for like dimes, for nickels, for nothing.
Not to mention, I think
Egypt was broke at the time and needed money. And
Oh yeah, they just like they just got out of several wars, and after building the Suez Canal, they were pretty much broke. They couldn't even afford the Statue of Liberty. It was supposed to be in Egypt, by the way, but the French wanted to just give it to the Egyptians. They were like, we can't even afford to set it up. Sorry, so they gave it to the Americans.
Frankly, as far as us with Egyptian artifacts, I mean, throughout history, we weren't really pleasant to it. I mean, I was very interested in Egyptology when I was a child, and I saw a documentary. I learned that British soldiers even shot at the Sphinx for target practice during World War One. I think.
That's on
This was back. This was back when the Sphinx was completely buried in sand up to its head.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, like, in the future, whenever you hear like people talking about racism, they're actually expanding that to systemic levels, and it's difficult to separate the two when people talk about it.
Here's the thing, like systemic racism is one thing. I think when most people just whine about racism online is when someone just gives them a slight and they go, that might be racist. And I kind of get it, and I kind of get annoyed by it. Like, yes, sometimes I get some, white people being rude to me. I can't just be like, well, they were rude to me, they might be racist. I might have been just an asshole. Who knows? That person might have had like just a bad day.
It's just it oversimplifies the situation down to one factor, which is your race. And I think studying psychology, human interaction is so complex, and to just bury someone's negative reaction down to one factor, I think it's oversimplified. That's my big thing with it.
Well, people are fucking stupid too, and simple.
Yeah, but I just think,
don't forget,
there are so many factors involved that, yeah, probably racism probably does play a big part in it, but doesn't play. It's not all the reasons.
It's easy for us to say that because we are white.
Anyway.
Well, he's right in a way.
Let's not get involved in this debate.
But here's the thing. I've had a few of my friends who've complained to me about racism, and I say, you don't know the fucking half of it, mate. And they're like, what? What are you saying? Well, I experience racism all the time from other white people because they think they're safe. Talking to a whitey, aren't they? They can be as racist as they like. I get that all the fucking time. I have a policeman come to me and do that. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I get that sometimes from. Here's the funny thing, like brown people. I think, especially if you live in the Middle East, because this is where I come from. It's fine. So I'm not really black. I'm not really white. So I get some African friends just telling me the most racist shit about white people. And I get white people telling me the most racist shit about black people.
Weirdly,
and don't get me started about the Indians and Pakistanis.
I was actually gonna, about the. I'll get started about the Indians and the Pakistanis. I don't actually know any Pakistanis, but
okay. Before you go, I want to read something that Pascal left here, and I want to read it all because I only read the snippet. So. While we were talking about racism, they're not racist, they're just ignorant. Everyone is perpetuating it because we are all implicitly racist. Might as well call everybody racist. PB, you're on the one, ignoring the actual problem by deciding to table a non-starter by calling people racist. If you want systemic change that benefits people who are the result of the centuries of racist policies, you can't start with you're racist. It doesn't do anything for the problem because those people don't see what they are doing as racist.
I'm sorry, did BB call anyone racist? Because that's not what I heard.
Didn't.
No.
I know that you were just reading what Pascal's saying, but
no, he's talking about if somebody wants to do something about the problem, this approach doesn't work.
Yes, I know, because you're talking about like
works though. Civility politics.
I don't know,
work.
Nick. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a different approach to systemic racism than people being racist. Just racism as a as a social thing. So I'm not interested in the systemic stuff because again, I don't live in the West. I have no dog in that. Like I have like no dog in that race at all, or no horse in that race. That's the saying anyway.
Thank goodness for you,
But yeah, it's like, but yeah, I deal with people a lot, and you know, sometimes when I notice something that is racist to say, like when someone goes like, yeah, you might be brown, but you're one of the good ones. I'm like, yeah, it's a bit racist, dude. Stop.
Snoopy
you know,
incident.
But most of these people that are saying like all whites are racist are basically activists, most of them, because they want people to think about it. I hardly come across, like, I reckon your average you know, black guy would probably not give a shit about doing that sort of thing and just wanted to work and get on with their lives. You know, they don't really say that shit. It's mostly activists online that do that.
As Bill Maher said when he talked to a black friend of his, and I quote, "I'm doing all right."
I got a black friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I keep emphasizing on just talk to people and try to understand those prejudices and where they come from. Because sometimes some of your own prejudices might be considered racist to other people, but you don't really see it because hey, that's how I've been behaving all my life. And then someone goes like, yeah, we don't really like when you say that about us. You go like, sorry, I didn't, because most people don't want to be rude. They don't want to be mean for no reason at all. So when you try to understand those prejudices and you talked about these things, then you fix yourself. But again, you have a lot of those online reactionaries and pundits go like, wait, but this is my free speech. I just want to call you the N-word. Why is the word? I mean, offense is taken, it's not given. And I just want to call you I don't know, a monkey.
What is it?
It's like, then why do you want to call it if it doesn't mean anything? Why do you want to use these words if they don't mean anything to you?
Why do white guys have like a trigger finger to use the word? They really, really want to use it, and they feel really deprived when they can't.
It's the inner 14-year-old screaming to get out.
It's literally because you told me not to do it, I will do it. I mean,
yeah,
come on, people.
It really
why do you
is
use
that
word
simple.
slavery? It's really offensive to me. I'm Slav, and slavery. One theory is that comes from Greek word Slav, which was slaves in Byzantium back then. Then it Frenchified, of course.
Does that mean your whole country is slaves?
In Old Greek, probably, yes.
Can I just say, hey, Luca, how's it going?
He's writing. He
And do you have a mustache now, Luca?
Yes. Yes, why not?
Well, you could not look more stereotypically Italian, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You look like one of those Italians from Hello, Hello.
I'm a bartender now.
Oh god.
That's the answer I was looking for.
How many people have you killed in the toilets yet?
I'm a bartender. I'm a freaking killer.
Every time you come on the show, you talk about killing someone. So I'm just a bit concerned.
Yeah, because I mean,
the
those
bow tie, mate. The bow tie.
Those are some people that can really get on your nerves.
I mean, there was probably a bartender serial killer.
I was researching serial killers just like before I came here.
Wow.
Did you use the salt and pepper shaker when you were like really pissed off?
No.
Not like...
Pascal asked, how many people have you chased away from the bar by simply talking to them, Luca?
I usually don't talk to them.
What?
Would
It's
you
like,
like
here you
some
go.
help? Would you like some help?
Okay, that's
No,
prejudice.
It's literally here you go and just leave.
They obviously don't want to talk to you.
The silent bartender.
Oh, it
Why
would
not?
be so nice.
Do you know who the silent bartender, the silent waiter is? It's the guy in like those American toilets who just like wants to serve you mints. He's always quiet and staring at you.
Serve you mints.
Yeah, that's what they do. They serve you mints, and they try and like wipe your face and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Try and wipe your face.
That's happened before. Like in some clubs that I've been to, there's been like one of those guys inside the toilet, like trying to hand you things.
Oh right. I don't think he works there, mate.
No.
I think you're going to the wrong kind of club, mate.
I don't know. The pub that I go to, the bartender kind of gave up on starting a conversation with me. I just gotta give me a beer, and then he just like leans forward as if he's gonna say something. And I just pull up my phone and start tweeting.
Got it.
I'm just here for a beer. Go away.
Nah, I have a humility towards bartenders when I sit at a bar table, and I was like, hey, how was your day? I know it was shitty day, but like it's
Actually, barmen always have the best stories, you see.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like the couple of times that I talk to the bartenders over there, they're quite interesting. But most of the time, when I go to a bar, is when I just hit this kind of rock bottom when it comes to my mood, and I'm just like, I want to drink until I feel sorry for myself. So,
did you pour out a whiskey and have like did you have like a towel over your arm and everything, and then you just like wiping down the desks, and then you're just like, there's always a space for you here, Jack?
No, it's the bar inside the restaurant. We don't do like a proper bar service. I'm just taking.
I was actually just about to. I just realized you're closing for. How fancy bars do you have in Italy?
It's a pizza restaurant in the middle of fucking nowhere, but it's always full because they have the best pizza around.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for clarifying that.
How much of a stereotype are you now?
I got that pun as well. I got the pun as well. It was the best pizza around. That's
Around what? Around the restaurant?
In a circle.
Within these four walls.
No.
Around.
Yeah, I actually I started. I did a trial shift at my local pub. It was Friday, and like even in like the 3 hours I was there, I meant like really like there was this one guy who walked up to me with a South African accent. Oh, you South African? Yes, I've just moved here 4 days ago. I got to get my kids out, and it's like, bartenders, you just run into like every single different kind of people, do you know? So it's like, I apologize for that awful accent.
Pascal is saying, I'm too poor to drink at a bar. I drink at home.
No, during the weekend, I went.
He laughed. I wanted to ask him.
But during the weekend, I went camping in the desert with a bunch of people that I only knew like one person from that entire group of like 60+ people that went. So I went to the pickup point, and the car that I was in, we had this girl from Uganda. The driver was an Irish dude, and it was me and a gentleman from Hyderabad, India. So it's like multinational people just like go like, oh, this is exciting. We're all in Dubai, and just like we got to know each other a little bit, share stories. And when it came to my turn to share a story, I'm like, yeah, I traveled a lot. My best trip was to India. And I went there to just sample food from all over India. One funny thing about it though, I wanted to try the original biryani. In every town, in every city, every province I went to, they were like, our biryani is the best biryani. Those other guys are liars. We're going to give you the best biryani here. And that, kid you not, that lasts for a month and a half. Every little town, they were like, our biryani is the original one. All those guys are copycats. And
it's the same in Italy for pizza. Like our pizza.
And I looked at the guy from Hyderabad was like, I don't think that we're quite honest with you, because you haven't been to Hyderabad, because in Hyderabad we have the original biryani. The other guys were just lying to you. I love Indians sometime.
Right, I'm gonna have to go. So I'll see you guys all next week, or Robin doing the live stream next week.
Who fucking knows? my life is not my own at the moment. People are just basically asking me to turn up at silly o'clock in the morning and stay for 12 hours for no apparent reason. It's horrific, but it's money. It's if you get a week's pay in a day, it's not bad, is it? You know.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, hopefully I'll see you guys all next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Roger.
All right. Goodbye, then. It's.
Bye, man.
I apologise for that. That was awful. Bye.
Boy. Boy.
So you guys were talking about the corruption in Trump's administration, quote unquote.
He's been doing very well, hasn't he?
I've honestly not paid attention that much because of the stupidity in the UK right now.
For me, the whole thing, like America, is just a nice scapegoat of what I have here. So it's like, oh, I mean, it's shit, but it's not my shit, so I can make fun of it.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, especially for Italy right now. Italy's always been the joke. Now we're looking at America and Britain, and we're like, well, we're not that stupid.
No. Look, I need to tell you something. Trieste is Slovenian.
You can have it. You can have it back at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They all vote Salvini. They can fuck off.
Yeah, but just look at the UK. We've had tons of floods, and Boris Johnson can't even try to look like he's doing something by setting up a Cobra meeting.
But he got his blue passport. The blue passport that was printed in France.
No, in Portugal by a Dutch-French company.
Do you reckon Donald Trump is part of the Legion of Doom?
Oh, that would be funny.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you reckon that Donald Trump is part of the Legion of Doom?
And who are they exactly? When do they meet?
Legion of Doom. That's a DC Comics thing.
Yeah, but where do they meet?
Yeah.
They meet
Under the
inside
sea.
this. They meet inside this swamp area with a big, huge dome that looks like a cat.
yes.
Well, surely he's fighting them.
I'm sorry, but
Hence the
I
drain the
found
swamp
a
thing.
really funny picture that I will post in the chat.
Just redirect notice. Don't want to redirect notice. Yeah, it's in the Legion of Doom.
Oh god. Oh god, why?
The funny thing is, I googled Legion of Doom to remind myself, and it was like 5th or 6th picture.
I don't know who the others are, except for like Rudy Giuliani on there.
Okay, I mean, I recognize most of those characters, so that's good.
I recognize who the characters are, but not like the actual people.
Did you post this in the Google chat? Because it didn't show up.
Yeah,
for me.
Google chat. Yeah, it's bugging out. Some people get the message, sometimes no. I will post it in the YouTube chat.
Well, of course, it doesn't work there.
So,
Few people there who have already.
for the people who are listening, I think it's only Pascal, or maybe some other too. I don't know.
Don't jinx it.
There you
More
go.
people
the
might show up.
picture.
No, we have 11,000 viewers right now.
Okay.
12.
I
And I'm one of the 12.
12,000.
I've just seen this really weird Twitter account called Whites for Mike Bloomberg. Bernie for the poor, Pete for America, Bloomberg for the white race. # Whites for Mike.
Wow.
Oh my god.
It's called
Are they holding-
@Whites_Mike.
Are they holding their right hand a little bit at the angle towards
You
the
just
sun?
give up. You give up after a while.
Why even try?
This is the stuff that makes you give up.
We want you to exist, Mayor Bloomberg, just like we want you to protect the white race and let us continue to exist. It's obviously an alt-right troll account.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the only kind of supremacy that's okay is white chocolate supremacy.
Actually,
White chocolate is not white. It's not chocolate, as I remember.
It's the worst. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
No, I like it, but I know that it's not really.
Well, I
chocolate.
mean, you're a subhuman being for liking it, then.
Are you denying the right for white chocolate to exist?
Yes.
Yes, it should be abolished. It
Yes.
should be abolished and burnt, and everyone who enjoys it should be burnt with it.
What do you mean you don't like a mocha?
Let's
yeah,
secure the
mo-
future
mo-
of white chocolate.
It's like people who like pineapple on pizza. Like, come on, these are not people. They're subhuman.
We are killing it. I love how you said pineapple on pizza and Italian left.
No, the funny thing is, like, I was
He has
invited to
to
one of
by
those
law.
I was invited to one of those left round tables on Twitch. Now there's a lot of them
boy.
these days. And you know, we were just relaxing, talking, and having fun because a lot of us were like previously involved with the anti-SJW kind of scene.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
and
different.
and yeah, we were talking about history and you know, the Arab history with the Turks, and I ended that in that, like, I had like a big rant that lasted for like 5 minutes about how different imperial powers are affecting the area around Syria and Iraq these days, with the Turks still thinking of themselves as an empire back with the Ottoman days, and the Persians still thinking the same thing. You've got the Russians on one side and the Americans on one side. And I was like, you know what? But you know, me as an Arab, I just want to genocide them all. Because, you know, and you know, after like a long tirade of like a very serious rant, everybody knew that it was a joke. And there were a couple of people that they were like, oh no, you can't say that. It's being offensive. And I'm like, oh, come on. They're like, no, don't come on. No, you just offended people. And I'm like, you know, and those offended people can be genocided too.
And you people are the very reason alt-right people find a reason to exist.
No. That is absolutely halal.
Mind you, Habib, I guess you're kind of agreeing with Pug's idea of how to solve all the world's problems and kill all the people.
Like, yeah, I mean, I get
Yeah?
that sometimes like genocide jokes can be a bit too cringy, but to be like, oh no, and just like, you know, do all this act like, oh my god, I'm so offended now. How dare you say that? Like,
Well, some
come
people
on.
have to be offended on other people's behalf because they're unable to.
It's
Or they
fucking
just have no life other than being offended for whatever reason.
It's I call that too much online syndrome. Like when you just live your entire life online.
This is why I don't like social media.
This
I
is
turned
how
my
you
Twitter.
do
My
it.
Twitter is literally turned into a porn site.
This literally is people on a Sunday talking on a video. You are
Yeah.
in social media, Bakura.
I know.
You're here almost every week.
Yeah. Yes, I meant the whole range of social media, like Twitter,
There's a
Facebook.
lot. There's a lot more
Twitter, and
than Twitter.
Facebook, constantly posting your
Hating
pod. I
popular
don't do
things
that.
doesn't make you cool, you know.
Who said I was trying to be?
I
Are
did.
you being one of those?
Well, you don't know
like,
me very well, do you?
You being like a hipster for like hating internet.
Yeah, he's retro for before the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys really play mods, or are you just faking it? I'm
just smoking some THC and it feels lovely.
Oh, I
Fucking
might
hell.
score some some
nice.
legal stuff that I'm not allowed to say very soon. But yeah, I might score. I kind of miss that stuff.
Is it legal though? Is it really?
I mean, no. It's a substance that I am not allowed to say that it's illegal because, as far as I know, it's legal. And I might or might not score it, and I might or might not use it, and I might or might not enjoy it. Actually, no, I know that I will enjoy it. So there you go.
Oh,
I like
right
my
then.
touch. It solves
the
a lot.
funny thing is, even if I find something, it's probably some Albanian shit, and why waste money on a fucking bad shit?
The funny thing is, like, I live in Dubai now, which is one of the most liberal cities in the Gulf area.
Woo!
And I can't access anything drug related, but back in Saudi, I had access to anything I wanted. I just knew the right people, you know.
Wait, Dubai is in UAE.
Yes.
Okay. Why did I think that? I have a problem with Middle East mostly of mixing shit up.
Oh, I get it. Like a lot of Eastern Europe is just like a big mystery to me. Like I know where Croatia is and where Ukraine is, and everything else in the middle. I'm like, somewhere there.
So I live in Romania. Thank you.
I've been to Romania actually.
Okay, I'm looking at the chat. All the best drugs in Oman?
Yes, Oman, Alain. You have a lot of good stuff in Alain.
There's probably a lot of heroin as well, right?
A lot of Persian hash you can find there.
Oh, tasty.
Yeah.
Sprinkle it on your toast.
No, you just like you break down a cigarette and then you heat it up in a spoon and you mix it with that and you roll it and it's.
I think he was cracking a wisecrack there. I don't think he was actually like contemplating using it as a spread. Or were you?
Hey, who knows? I mean, hey, dude.
I was kind of half and half right there.
Right, you were just hoping.
I've seen people do worse with hash, so I'm like.
I literally ate it.
I'm sorry for not taking you seriously.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm pretty fucked right now.
That's the best, man. Like, yeah, I went camping with a bunch of musicians, so what do you expect? Like, I came back and I'm like, oh, dude, this is the best trip ever.
And then you start tripping, seeing Joe Rogan giving you DMT.
No,
my friend had a trip, and he said like he would never do it again because his first trip he saw blood running down the walls.
Jesus.
No.
I had something happen to me once where I was on a bit of a bummer, and I went into the toilet, and while I was taking a shit, it was like really sort of thick, sort of dark wooden doors, so all the grain was pointing down, and while I'm like pushing one out, it looked as if like the whole grain was moving, sort of like something was being sort of squeezed through the grain of the fucking. It's like
I had a small little trip where
like
I
blood
was on
cells.
where I was on some Peruvian salvia, and my brain started melding into the wall. And I felt my head twisting around and round and round, and the wall itself was spinning round in circles, and my head felt like I was joined inside the wall, and I was one with the house.
I couldn't not lean to the left. That was quite difficult.
No, the hardest part for me was on this trip. I think I became just too much of a city boy. Like in the desert, like when I tried to sleep, it's just dead silent. No white noise whatsoever.
Oh,
you could
yeah.
hear yourself not just breathe, you can hear your own heartbeat, you can hear the blood circulating around your veins. And when you're a bit drunk and a bit high and you've been just listening to music and dancing all night long, it fucks you up. I just couldn't sleep.
I had that problem when I moved from the city to the village. I literally just play something on my phone, radio or whatever, and just
I wish I could. I wish I could.
But yeah, you were in the middle of the desert.
My nose died. My phone died. Just ran out of battery, so I didn't have that option.
No, but the funny thing is, what I always bring when I go camping is literally that small radio station that takes 2A batteries and lasts for like a month. The Chinese crap. Literally just to have something to make noises. I have a house in the mountains and literally
like a traveling pocket radio kind of thing.
Yeah. Literally that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have those problems.
I didn't think I would need it because when I was growing up, we used to go desert camping like every other week when I was a teenager. I was quite used to it, and I even grew up in a village, so just sleeping complete silence was kind of normal for me. But that was like what 30 years ago, so I'm not used to it anymore. Yeah, it's. I could go like I kept thinking, oh my god, how did I lose this? Because I used to enjoy the silence, and now it freaks me out. Why am I freaked out? It's just silence.
Enjoy the silence.
What happened?
I don't know what happened.
I went away for a few seconds, and then it's gone all really eerily quiet.
No,
because we are enjoying the silence.
Silence to the sound.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Oh, right.
I hear everyone.
All right,
I've got ears of a bat.
he's so baked, isn't
You can
he?
hear.
He is so baked.
I've got ears of a bat and a voice of an angel.
Oh my dear lord.
And 40 blocks under says, "Oh, so there's a stream today."
Yes, there is a stream today. I'm sorry I didn't really advertise it very well, but I'm not really an advertising type, you know me.
Oh, sorry guys, I gotta go.
Alright.
He's got to go.
It's midnight here. I will say a little bit more.
Because
I did send you a link, mate, so you can pop in whenever you like.
Because nobody asked, the strain that I'm smoking is it's called Super Cheese.
Super cheese.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's smoking super cheese, everyone.
It's not like cheese. It's like the super kind.
It's a super kind, a super duper kind.
So it's a literal definition of weed for white people.
Well, you could actually... not my intention, but that's kind of funny. But you can actually
Weed
look up
for white people.
You could actually look up the strain on Leafly, and it'll tell you exactly what it does.
I mean, I had white cheese today, as in white cheese.
I had Gouda cheese.
But all you got to
Does that
do is
count?
sort of run your finger around the outside.
Gouda is a hard cheese, so it's not really a white one.
Well, just get some water and just rub your finger around the outside.
Oh man.
Are you older than 21? Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Externally, at least.
Typical effects: focused, relaxed, creative. Common use: depressed, anxiety, arthritis.
What?
Oh, it's Afghani.
What?
Yeah, Afghani weed.
Oh right, okay. They're talking about a type of weed. I was like, it was just random words were being thrown at me, man. That was like a tossed word salad. Yeah, there's no point having that in there anymore. So yeah, we've all gone quiet.
Yeah.
Are you in? You in 40 blocks?
I mean, I'm still in. I'm sorry. I'm just like, yeah, you know.
Got to keep up. It
Just
can't be
distracted.
just me running the show, you know.
Well, that's your show.
I mean, come on. I took the part of the reading the chat.
Yeah.
No, it's like I'm getting messages all over. Need to just ignore people.
Is it that time of day?
Oh, dude, you haven't broken 1K yet. I'm disappointed.
It's not my fault.
Who else is it?
Canada.
I'm not the one trying to get me up to 1,000.
Hello.
Hello, Joshua.
Hello. How are you guys?
Joshua, apparently I'm supposed to have 1,000 subscribers by now.
Oh, well, no. I guess not. Maybe.
That might be your fault.
Okay. Yeah, I stopped getting on here a while ago.
Yeah.
Back when we actually had like 2,000 people watching at one point, and we had that Wall Street Journal guy on there.
That was a different show.
Oh.
Different channel.
Was that professional?
Well, no, I switched it off from my personal channel and switched it onto here instead, and told everybody else to fuck off.
The professional way.
Yeah. You know, there's too many people just trying to fucking like turn it into some sort of anti-SJW channel. It's like, mate, go and talk to Sargon if you want that shit. And they did. And that was that.
The one I get is THT Biomed Indica. It's Amazeballs. Pascal.
Amazeballs.
Yeah. So, been playing any games lately?
I started to play Dota again.
Ew.
For no apparent reason.
Okay. When he says that, he says, have you bought any new games that you've played?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
You know, I have it. I only ran the benchmark, and it looks great. Even though, like, it's over like 100 frames per second on everything maxed out on my PC, except on that one scene when there's fog and it's sub 60, and I got sad and I never ran it again.
Oh my god! What? So you're gonna wait until you've got a superior machine to do it on?
No, I'm waiting for them to patch that shit up because fog should not slash 60 frames of my performance. That's just stupid.
You fucking absolute fucking diva.
I didn't spend over like $2,000 on this new PC just to run a game at 60 frames. No.
Well, it depends on the game.
My latest game that I got was Kakarot, and it was shit. It was just so fucking boring. Because of I love Dragon Ball Z and stuff, but like the Kakarot game was supposed to be an RPG, and all the enemies were the same. It didn't really matter, like there was no grinding element because every time you did the freaking storyline, you got the XP that you needed to get to the next thing. So there's no freaking point of an RPG in it. So it was just so bare bones. It was pure fan service. I mean, if you haven't watched the series and you wanted to get up to date, then that would be a good thing to do. But like, it was so boring, predictable, and repeatable. I felt like I got ripped off. I even bought the season pass because I like Dragon Ball stuff, but it's just like I felt so ripped off, and I can't get a refund because I got it on CD key. So I'm really pissed off.
Oh, I don't know. I did play. Finally managed to finish Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
That's a good game.
Yeah, not a bad game.
It is good, but I like. The story element
is still better.
No. The story part of Human Revolution is better. Gameplay-wise, the second one is really fucking good. Like, how much shit you can do in what way, it's just crazy.
Yeah, completely.
AI is a little bit of. Sometimes it can be just bonkers. But it's a really good game. But I found the story of Human Revolution much more enjoyable. Though again, original Deus Ex is still fucking king. With the story, gameplay wise, no.
But you know, Deus Ex was a lot
really
of
fucking gold game.
It was a lot of shit at the wall.
I mean, it is one of the first of that kind of games, and like for the first one, it's really fucking good. Of course, you don't need to level swimming to the max level for no goddamn reason.
What Deus Ex needed? Do you know what Deus Ex needed to be? Third person.
Oh yeah,
no, I completely disagree. Completely disagree.
I knew you were going to say that.
I completely
and I
disagree.
welcome your hatred, sir.
I mean, no, because you would have too much information by playing third person. It's the same thing as Thief and System Shock. Like the first person is the why it hit me so much.
Yeah, but we've already learnt a lot of lessons in third person. One of those sort of things is actually you can bring your HUD down a lot by using the body of the character.
And most of people don't do that. I mean, the only game that I know that really does that is the horror one.
Dead Space.
Dead Space. Mass Effect doesn't use it. Gears of War doesn't use it.
Dead Space is amazing. I love it.
That's one is pretty fucking awesome. 2 is okay. 3 is.
Yeah, it did start to sort of tail off a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, when EA started to mingle much more in creative
I'm looking forward to Doom Eternal. That's gonna be freaking sick.
I already pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
I don't pre-order stuff.
It looks like it's been optimized before it's released.
Stop pre-ordering.
I know, but no, it's Doom, and you know.
The thing is, and I don't have money to buy on
pre-ordering.
I mostly.
Shush.
I think it's a safe bet to pre-order that Doom from the playtest.
Oh, of course.
The thing you don't fucking
pre-order. This one's a safe one.
No, I played the beta and I was like, I'm sold. Give me.
You're such a beta player.
I didn't know there was a beta version.
It's on the Bethesda website. Like once you get into that, and sometimes they send you like links and stuff.
Both
it's a beta.
Doom also had a beta, but only for multiplayer.
Yeah, but that was the original Doom. With this one, the beta was pretty much half an hour, and it's like in the middle of the game, so it's not like right at the beginning. And yeah, they start you in hell, and you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I have like half the weapons, but I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with that.
The music, Mick Gordon, fucking hell.
As much as I love Mick Gordon's music, it's not the same as the original.
I thought you were gonna start singing the theme to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Do you think I should do? Do you guys think I should do a new open house redesign, or do you like this?
What do you mean by redesign? Is it starting to look dated? You think?
Well, it's supposed to look dated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, but you know, it's,
I don't know. You know, it started to become just like it started to look just okay. It's just open house for me.
Robin,
So-
you need to be modern. You need trap house beats.
that is never happening.
You need trap house.
That's never ever happening.
And
no. If you want to be cool, I can find you some good turbo folk songs to add in. Just to be unique.
Why is everyone going for the music? Why did I say that the sound scheme would be changing? I never said that.
For every podcast.
No, the music is fine. Music is fine.
Thank you, Habib. That's what I was expecting to hear from all of you.
I like the music.
That's right.
If you were to update it, just like have a different color for the background, and maybe a different kind of animation, something more lively, and that's it. You're good. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the fog effect that you have. It just looks tacky.
Oh, you mean the smoke? It is a bit. Yeah, It was a bit of a filler, really. I was thinking about whether it looked okay. But then I got distracted and I forgot to take it off.
If you're mimicking some sort of like a speakeasy kind of pub, then it should be either spotlights or something like that. But not
well, it should be it could work if it was a damn sight slower and a damn sight thinner.
But Pascal said I also
and actually rotating properly because I didn't even finish fucking making it a full rounded animation.
Oh yeah, it's clipping.
Right?
Yeah, it just clips it. It's gonna clip in a second. I don't know how many frames I fucking recorded. I just fucked about. It's just like a particle effect. It's not even proper smoke.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. No, it's the thing that I hate about it is like the well, not hate. Hate is a very strong word. I mean, it's fine, but at the lowest portion of the frame, it looks like it's
real foggy.
overpowered.
Yeah. I could probably turn that down now, actually. Hang on, let's have a look.
That's where it starts bothering me.
Let's have a look. It's in there, isn't it?
I'm so high.
Oh no, that turns the music off.
No, you turned off the chat.
There we go.
I wanna be free to do the things I know I right.
I wanna be free.
Just
free.
That meme always gets stuck in my head when I get
Ooh.
wow,
wow, wow, wow.
Oh, that's just silly now.
You can always get him on tunes. Know your audience, mate. Know your audience.
It looks like you're sitting in a pub that is on fire and nobody cares. Which actually might be a decent metaphor.
Yeah, it's a good metaphor for the world at the moment. So let's have a look. Let's go.
Like this last month, an entire country was on fire.
Not towards me because it needs to pass the border control and yeah. I'm answering to Pascal. Sorry.
That one file, really? Have a look at you. Where is that? F video editor. Right. So this is some sort of hit film that I did. seems. So I was using HitFilm for this.
I just got a commercial for buses that travel to Germany.
What?
Yeah, we got literally now you need 4 days to get a working visa in Germany.
Right.
Because our government, Serbian government, the German government got some deal. Because we have a really big group of people that are highly educated in electrotechnics, and Germans need that. So they laxed the ways to get a working visa. So literally a brain drain, nothing else. And a lot of people are just making money from just transporting people to Germany. So a shit ton of people are just forcing the sponsored content on the Facebook for their local transport agency, quote unquote.
I'm a little lost, mate. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah.
Is anyone catching all of
following.
this? I'm confused.
I'm doing fine.
Could you explain what you just said then?
Okay,
Yes,
so
I could try.
a lot of people are into electrotechnics, even high school or higher degree, and we got easier way to get a working visa for Germany. So a lot of people are just running away and going to Germany. So a lot of people are just buying small buses and transporting people for small, like 20 euros to Germany or 40 euros to Germany. So a lot of them are literally just paying ads on Facebook, and I'm getting shit ton of it.
Oh, I got some news. Marianne Williamson has just endorsed Bernie, the kooky sort of orbs lady.
Ooh.
The one who trashed Dave Rubin.
Yeah, she's backing she's backing Bernie now.
Can women be Bernie bros?
Huh?
Can women be Bernie bros?
Of course.
That's
Are they Bernie babes? Is this how it works? Do they stand in front of the Bernie booth?
No. Gender neutral. Bernie it's.
Oh, that's worse. That's not cool, man. That ain't cool.
Yeah, as Jamie is one of the Bernie bros, she finds it quite toxic, actually, that her existence is being erased in this way.
Okay, we'll call it Bernie siblings.
Yeah, I think that's fine, Bernie siblings.
No. That is only for people from Alabama.
Oh my god.
Rude.
It's weird that your mind immediately goes to sex, sir.
Oh my god.
I'm watching Bernie Sanders live at the moment because I like the I am the choir that he preaches to. I want him to win because then I would have a place that I could move to with healthcare and it's a bit warmer.
I just want him to win because my girlfriend lives there, and the whole thing about student debt forgiveness, healthcare, and all that. Yeah, that would benefit her a lot. And anything better than Trump's immigration policies, because I would love to move there.
Vote
did you
blue,
know?
No matter who, America. Vote blue, no matter who.
Did you know this about Mike Bloomberg? He has to pay a massive fine for his policies against Muslims. For it was like an extremist program, and they were putting Muslims under high surveillance, and no extremism actually was. They didn't see it was a very effective. So the Muslim community are now suing him, and now he owes lots and lots of money to the Muslim community of New York.
Stop and frisk wasn't effective either. I think they ran the numbers and said that the crime went down by maybe like a tenth, if that, despite that they put like thousands more people in jail for no good reason.
I did like that guy who went up to him with for a selfie and just went, "Say stop and frisk," and he goes, "Stop and frisk."
That guy's led. It's like, you fucking racist.
Legend.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you. Time to sleep. Tomorrow is a working day, and have a nice night.
Take it easy.
Have a nice
You too, buddy.
No. All of you have a nice night. Take a bottle of vodka, a little bit of kolbasa.
Can you say
that's on the agenda.
Like Count
Dankula. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Can you say that's 69 bottles?
That's 69 bottles.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent.
What is wrong with you?
Anyway.
I mean, really.
The funny thing is, because it's kind of similar to what accent I had before I improved it a little bit, and mixture of Hollywood accent, so I sound like a Romanian vampire for some reason. I will suck your blood.
I was mainly thinking the Count from Sesame Street, but okay.
But like it's stupid. Anyway, see you later, guys.
Right,
see you maybe next week.
Thanks for coming on.
That's my line.
Horribly rude. Well, you didn't say it, so I had to say it for you because I'm more polite than all the rest of you.
That would be my line if I wanted to say it, which I don't.
Oh, I see. So you are explicitly not.
You're stealing my non-thunder.
Okay. Well,
your non-thunder.
I'll leave it to you to not
thank you.
Yes, for participation.
I'll decide what I shall and shan't do.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take over too many aspects of your show. I apologize.
It's all right.
What I think is funny about the Bloomberg thing, well, there's many things that are hilarious about it, but the same people that you were saying earlier, there's all these centrist people who are like, oh, and vote Trump, vote blue no matter what, and now that it's Sanders, are like, oh, I don't know about that. But there's an equal, if not greater, backlash to Bloomberg. Lots of people. I even saw one Hillary person was like, I voted for Hillary easily in 2016. I don't know that I would vote for Bloomberg. So Bloomberg has almost as much if not more backlash for the, would not vote Democrat if camp.
I'm not worried about those that much because I don't think Bloomberg would win anything.
I don't think he will either.
So I'm not that worried about them.
The way it will happen is totally
the worst thing he serves is really more to do with the fact that he basically just bought his way into the DNC.
Right.
So he undermines the entire DNC by doing this.
Right.
In front of the eyes of the public, I would say.
I always argued that Bloomberg is a good thing for Bernie because it's proving his point.
Well, the thing is, the DNC is actually strapped for cash. Like, part of the reason why Hillary just sort of cruised to the nom last time and didn't see this as a problem was because she spent a lot of money on it. So she kind of felt like, hey, this is mine. I bought it, and I'm the nominee. You're all supposed to work for me. Why do you suck so bad?
Do you want a factoid? Right.
Sure.
Ooh,
Mike Bloomberg has spent more than Hillary Clinton's total electoral campaigns before the primary.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's spending all the money because he can. And it's an interesting, I've seen a lot. What makes me laugh is they're like, you can't buy an American election, comma. That said, no one's ever tested it at this price point before.
Well, somebody is saying au contraire.
Yeah,
really, more than anything else. The thing with this guy. He does not look good for them. He really doesn't look good for that party.
No, he doesn't.
Trump at least won it fair and square, if you see what I mean. He didn't buy his way in.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that is how he will win if he does it, is he'll basically get enough delegates to make it to the second round of voting and then just say, listen, I'm buying this. Make me president, and I will spend all of the money on the Senate races and the House races that you need to win, and I will save this party and doom it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, It's just like I don't know who's his social media team is. First of all, he hired people to make memes, and those memes are just mwah, mwah.
Yeah,
Chef Kiss, amazing stuff. Like it's the boomer stuff that I've ever seen. Boom, and then his tweets, like accusing Bernie of being like too rich. Like, you've got 3 houses, and I'm like, dude, what? You're taking snaps at someone for being wealthy?
Well, no, he's taking the piss out of him, saying that he's a socialist, but he's rich. And he thinks that that's some sort of smarmy comeback. But really what he's doing is the old school. I mean, everyone's already gotten through this bit of saying it's like, it doesn't matter if somebody's rich or poor, they can still think that, disparity in riches is a bad thing.
Okay, Sanders is rich. I'm not going to deny that, but his net worth is $2 million. That was up to like 2012. I don't know what his net worth now. But that's compared to a multi-billionaire that has like hundreds of billions of dollars. Like, come on, there's a scale there.
Yeah, that's the power of 10 magnitude. It's like 0.01% of what these people have. It's ridiculous. He's just doing his victory lap now and on his podium live.
So it's gonna be the way I see it. Biden is toast. Buttigieg is really the last. The only moderate picks left really are Buttigieg and Warren, and it doesn't look like anyone's really going to go for either of them. So that means you either have Bloomberg buy his way in and destroy it, or Bernie wins by a popular vote and destroys it, because a lot of people will walk away, which will be amazing. I do honestly wish that the Never Trumpers and the Never Sanderses would all leave both of the parties that have rejected them so soundly and form their own party, and where they can all have like nice coffee, sit downs with each other and grouse about where they went wrong, and leave everyone else the fuck alone so we can fix what they broke. That would be good.
You mean the Libertarians?
No, I don't. No, the Bill Kristol is not a fucking libertarian. Those are the ones to watch though. What make me laugh is because they're like, "Oh, never Trump. I'm never voting for Trump." And then they put up Sanders, and now they're immediately flipping back to, "Damn it, I'll support Trump again, and it's your fault." And it's just like, you were gonna do it anyway, dude. Just stop it.
Oh, you're talking about the Tim Pools?
Yeah.
Reactionaries.
All the Republican people who like pretended they ripped up their Republican Party card so they could go infiltrate the Democratic Party, and then when it didn't work, they're just flipping back to Republican again.
So reactionaries.
Is there anybody alive who still believes Tim Pool when he says that he's not gonna vote Trump? Is anybody that stupid?
It's the only way that he can get people to listen to him.
I don't get it. He's so fucking stupid. I just don't get it. With Sargon, at least I can understand it because he has a bit of charisma at times. Although that's mostly gone now, but let's leave that aside.
Hey, he will forever be known as Rape Tweet Guy, so just keep it on the down low of how much you admire Sargon, because it's something to be ashamed of.
Oh,
I am ashamed.
I'm ashamed of it big time, mate.
Shame scold.
I do wish to extend to, this is the longest I'll ever spend talking about Sargon of Akkad. I'm sorry, Carl. I do want to spend the rest, I do want to give the voters of that particular district a ped pat, because they proved something very, very important for the future of democracies the world over, which is that having 400 million views on YouTube and being a giant troll does not, in fact, get you into parliament. So I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, how many?
Thanks for letting us know, Carl.
It's a mill.
Nothing.
I'll be back in a second.
Numbers.
He's I would consider Carl an overachiever in underachievement. He works very hard at very little.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not even tried, and look at the success of this place.
It's booming. I love it.
So much better, isn't it?
I mean, The thing is, like, if I was taking like back when I was taking YouTube seriously, then yeah, I amassed like a few thousand subscribers, but it wasn't really something that I aimed to be successful at. And yeah, I mean, there's been a few people lately. I mean, I've been just interacting with different groups, and yeah, that they don't really be like, well, I mean, you're an activist. How come you don't do YouTube anymore? And I'm like, okay, being an activist doesn't mean that I have a YouTube channel. What do you like? What the fuck?
But that's the thing for some of them. You see, is it's the communication students. Most of them, you know. They wanted to be an activist.
I got dragged into some of those like you know, like I said, the Twitch roundtables, like all the politics talk shows. And like, yeah, when do you like? Okay, you're an activist. Like, yeah, I've been an activist since '06. What do? I do this, this, and that, and these are my activities. These are the people that I kind of help. Where's your YouTube channel? I'm like, non-existent. I don't need a YouTube channel. I just don't.
Yeah. So guess what? I went to go and get. I went to go and got some Cadbury's mini fingers. And they're really nice, and they're tiny. They're like baby fingers.
Okay. Good on you.
I'm eating them. They're really tasty too.
Good on you.
Good.
Now lay down and be quiet. You'll be
Bless
good.
his little cotton socks.
Just go lay down. You'll be good.
Now I'm having some water. It's called Buxton. It's nice.
It's just
okay,
water.
is that a little subtler?
I don't know. The guy's so toast.
Okay, is that a little subtler for you?
What's going on?
The fog? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's so much better.
It makes the light actually shine.
You can even see it like in the mid of the frame, but just a tiny bit. And yeah, it's subtle. It's much better now.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
How did you do the candlelight effect in the background? Like the big spotlight looks like a candle. How did you do that?
A spotlight that looks like a candle.
Because you see the way it flickers on the vignette? That's a candlelight effect. But it's a spotlight.
Oh, that's just a video.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a layer.
Well, you can do an image, for example, as a multiply.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. I thought it was one of those effect layers that you just posted on like an After Effects thing, and
well, it kind of is. You use one bit of it, but then you can use it for things like a Luma shader, for example.
Yeah, I'm just toying with After Effects these days, and I hate it. I hate everything about that program.
After Effects is a mess. It's so unnecessary, and it should have been enveloped into.
Yeah, I'm seeing like a lot of commissions now for it, especially because brands are discovering that streaming pays money, so they want all those frames and all those transitions all to be done in After Effects. So I'm learning it just to have that thing that I can do.
Have you seen the Surfs show? It's really good on that front.
It's okay, but it's not the best. I know I've seen some streamers that really good work.
Just understand with your 3D, you have to the way that make sure that you have various 3D layers. Don't rely on one singular 3D layer, otherwise you'll just
it's
get
not
lost.
that. Like, okay, I'm more used to Final Cut and Premiere. I know where everything is. Like, I just want to adjust that layer. I want to add some keystone notes, keystone point or whatever. Like, I know where everything is. I don't know why with Adobe, with every single software that they have, they just feel like we're gonna reinvent the interface, and I'm just like, why? Just do the same that you did before. So you just, I mean, I can help the stuff that they asked me to do, but the thing is, like, what would take a regular person like an hour to do, or it would take me like 6 hours because I have to find every single function. Like, I know the function exists, but where the fuck is it?
So I see this happen in Office as well. It's basically the same thing. Whenever there's a new version of Office, everyone goes through this insane rigmarole where no one wants to buy the new version, but they do anyway. Then the IT people have to install the new version, which nobody wants to do, but they do anyway. And then the people get the new version of Office, which they didn't ask for, and now they have to relearn where all of their shit is, which they don't want to do, but they're sort of forced to do anyway. And there's this strange sort of resignation to it, like, oh, yeah, the latest Office, where they really don't. Maybe they add some new features, but really the thing that happens is like, well, we didn't really do a whole lot of work. So to camouflage that fact, we're going to change the user interface in order to make it more, in line with the current trends, because that's the most user-facing way to show that you did stuff. It's not actually stuff that people wanted, but it's stuff, so they're working on it, so please continue to support it.
Yeah, it's all done by committee who have nothing to do.
It's like to advertise the product, to keep buying the product. So we did stuff.
Like a conversation that sort of started again these days when it comes to VFX Studio switching to either a Mac Pro or just changing the entire system and going with an AMD, a Threadripper, because the Threadripper right now, it can go head to head with even a $15,000 Mac Pro. But the biggest hurdle for them is, like, we've got a team of 30 VFX artists. They've been doing Final Cut for the past 10 years. You can't just flip a switch and be like, well, you're doing Premiere now. Who's gonna pay for that downtime?
Yeah, because you got to learn all the shortcuts and everything.
The audio editors would do the same thing.
You've got to learn all the keyboard shortcuts, haven't you, mate? Otherwise, you're unable to compete if you don't know all the keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah, because it's your what?
It's just the shortcuts. Like, it's okay. Not even like Premiere versus Final Cut. Take Premiere versus Premiere on Mac and on PC.
I was just enjoying having a meme back for a while. That's all.
Apply the same LUT to a color correction video or color correction function. The same LUT, the same file. The result you'll get from the Mac is different from the PC.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know, but it's those little things.
Because Apple Mac screens are S-curved. That's why.
Yeah, it's those little things that you have to relearn. And once you're doing something for like 10 plus years, it's hard to just like,
that's
I'm
why
gonna give you a new platform.
This is why everybody's video looks really really compressed these days. Have you noticed this?
Robin?
Yeah.
Robin, I'm starting to get a little bit paranoid.
Oh. Need a hug?
And I'm
It's
thinking
not you.
that
It's not you, it's me. It's me.
I'm thinking that like watching Bernie, he's gonna get assassinated any second.
Oh
right
God!
Now.
Oh God!
What, right now?
No! Stop it!
I just think he's gonna get shot in the face.
No. He's not gonna. That's way too overt. They don't have to shoot him. Just feed him something. He dies. Oh, it was his heart.
Okay.
Oh,
I
great!
just get a feeling like every second.
You're not really helping. You're not really helping with this paranoia thing.
Yeah, I would say it's like, hey, I heard you like paranoia. That's a response to
They don't.
Great,
they don't need to shoot him in the face.
When he
That's
said
all
he
I'm
was
saying.
feeling paranoid, he wasn't thinking, "Oh, I could do with a bit of paranoia right now."
Bernie Sanders will not get shot in the face. That's all I'm trying to say.
Obama didn't get shot.
Yeah, I'll be the back.
That reminds me of when somebody tried to assassinate. What was it? One of the senators. In
Yeah, but
Arizona,
Obama
like
wasn't.
15 years ago.
Obama was centrist.
Like that, yeah.
He was along with the right.
The Republicans fucking hated him because he was black.
Dude, he went to an open carry rally, and there were people there with guns. If he was gonna get shot, it would have been then.
He was never gonna get himself over to the gun rights people because there's too many racists in the gun rights lobby, you know.
Who was it? I think it was Teddy Roosevelt who got shot during one of his candidates, his campaign speeches, and he proceeded to attack the guy that shot him.
Yeah.
Continued to give the remaining portion of the speech, as he had kind of a bruised / bloody.
No.
He just stayed up on the podium, just continued his speech like nothing happened.
What saved him was his Bible. He had like a pocket Bible in his in his suit or whatever. But it's just kind of like, oh, Oh, that's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. If you leave a legacy or like what people remember you by, the fact that you can pull something like that off is
it's pretty badass.
For sure. Amazing.
No, they're not gonna Ronald Reagan him. They're gonna Andrew Breitbart him. That's much.
Can you imagine if they try and Reagan Trump? They're gonna try. They're gonna fucking try. They Reaganed Reagan.
Yes.
And he says he wants to best Reagan. And
I just see like Bernie being another JFK.
Oh, stop it.
It's not. No.
Y'all are making me nervous. I don't like it.
Oh.
He'll just. It's not gonna. Yeah, it's fine.
No,
I do have a thing. This is gonna make basically everyone unhappy with me. But I guess a lot of people.
Stop it! Don't say it again. Keep putting it out in the
Say it.
So a lot of people have been asking this question about like is Trump Bernie, and they've been sort of
is Bernie Trump or
and the way I would sort of frame it is this way, and again this is the way that's gonna annoy the most amount of people, but that's fine.
Was that the plan?
That's what he lives for.
Yeah, apparently it is. I don't know that Trump is a racist. He does certainly sort of seem to act like it is, though. He has policies that seem kind of racist, and he has a lot of supporters that seem like really kind of overt racists lurking around in the background. But I don't know. I don't know if Bernie Sanders is like a, South American, Central American style socialist. He certainly has a lot of policies that seem kind of similar, and he has a lot of people hanging around in the wings and background that definitely do seem to be on board with that agenda. But I'm not really sure.
Well, the only thing
That's
that
my
people
position
try
on
and
that.
call him racist on is him not supporting the existence of Israel. But that's not racist, that's just factual. Because Israel's a dictatorship in Palestinian areas.
Well, the thing is that, you know what? People who are against free healthcare should be killed.
It's getting very spicy.
I mean, to be honest with you,
I don't feel comfortable
they do
with that
seem.
topic.
Well, to be honest with you, it seems like self-defense.
Yeah, it's Antifa.
That's self-defense to me. It's like you're saying. So you're saying that if I have some sort of illness and I haven't got like $100,000 on me, I should just die? Is that
No,
what
I'm
you're
not
saying?
No, don't put words in my mouth. I just think that previous statement you made was a bit extreme.
No, like I said, I'm saying it. Well, of course it is. I'm
Unless you're doing it
only
for-
kidding. They
for-
should
yeah,
die.
yeah, if you're-
I mean,
if
they
you-
should
if you're
die of
not
a heart
serious, then
attack. They
I have
should,
no-
they should die in an accident. They should die on, in I don't know.
I just come from the neutral position
in
of we
Minecraft.
have
Let's
enough-
say. Are you happier now? They should die in Minecraft.
Well,
are you good?
I
Are
feel,
you okay now?
okay,
Are you happy?
Yeah, I am absolutely fine.
Okay, it's in a game now. Okay,
I'm just gonna
they
say
should
that
have a
my
really
perspective
uncomfortable
comes from
day. They should forget their bus ticket. They should run out of battery on their phone. Are you happy now? Fucking hell.
I just come
think
from
they
the
should
neutral
be-
perspective where we have enough to help people out.
I think we should
and-
put them in a chair and strap them in like Clockwork Orange and
Luca
just get them
wasn't
to
here.
watch like pro NHS propaganda.
Joshua has
Somebody
been
did that over here.
for a while now. Let him finish.
No, I'm fine.
Some
I
dude
just,
apparently-
all I'm saying is, if I was to speak seriously about that issue, I just look at it as a situation where it doesn't matter what your views are. You should get help, and we have enough to help people out. And I find it very ridiculous that we don't.
Someone apparently forced someone to watch 9 hours of The Roots to try and explain to them racism and how they were being so racist. It didn't work.
It probably empowered his views.
Well, I don't.
There is somewhat of a you can't really call it a Venn diagram when it's a circle, is it really? But it's the people who are for gun who are against gun control, but also against sort of like public health care. Satan, how do, my dude? And I'm sitting there kind of going, so basically what you're saying is that the people that are doing all of these mass shootings need mental health help, and you don't want to pay for it.
Yeah,
That's
you don't
it.
want to pay for that. That's bad.
Yeah, you want them to get the help that they need, but you don't want to pay for it. And you're thinking, somebody who's mentally ill may be suffering. They may have a bit of, they may be struggling.
Isn't Satan for universal health care? Because what a great opportunity to infest the system and pervert it for evil, one that you require to keep you alive, right?
Well, Satanists are pro-abortion, that's for sure.
Is Satan pro-abortion? The baby doesn't get a
trying to
chance
keep
to
the
go to hell.
population count down. It was a bit crowded down there, last I checked.
It's true. I'm disappointed. I was hoping to elicit some views from Satan, and I'm not.
He did speak a while ago. He may have got bored with our conversation and ran off.
I see. Gotcha. That's possible.
I'm kind of confused when Bernie says a single payer program, because of like when us Brits, when we have the NHS, we don't even think about paying for it.
So the government collectively as the single payer.
Robin,
right.
Robin, why are there two Robin heads in the open house on YouTube?
I know there. You happy now?
Very. Yes.
Okay.
Very happy.
Whoa. Sorry, technical issue there, folks. Yeah, right now, for some reason or another, the Chrome window thing, I'm not able to actually grab it, and I'm not quite sure why. I think it might be... Okay, I'm getting some really weird artifacts coming through at the moment. If you turn off the acceleration on the browser, I think that means that it works properly. However, it works really fucking slow, and when you do a video, there's this tiny line that's like a chunk gets taken out of the video for some reason or another.
That sounds really bad, Robin.
Don't know why. So you get like like right down the center of the video, there's like a bit missing.
Sounds really bad, Robin.
It's just weird, isn't it?
Very weird.
But yeah. So what are you gonna do? So I'm carrying on our conversation, including the title of our video. I was just wondering exactly what is next, because we're now at this point where Trump is actually he's basically openly broadcasting that he will pardon people for money. He's already had a chap who was he's had like a donation of like 500,000 or something like that to get one of his mates off. Let me just bring it up a second. It's not just this Democrat guy, because I think that's a bit of a spook.
Yeah.
And he helped with the stone. His sentence diminished.
The thing is, the pardon power has always been used for this purpose, to let off various political people who are in your orbit who you want to do a solid because they want to do a solid for you. Bill Clinton did it, Bush did it, to a certain extent Obama did it. The difference with Trump is that usually they're smart enough to wait until like the last 3 days of the presidency when they're going out the door and no one can do anything. Instead, he's just doing it throughout, and it's tearing up all of the established norms.
Well,
I hate that word.
It's literally people
norms.
giving him money and asking him to give leniency to this guy, and then him giving leniency to this guy.
That's
somebody who was being done for financial fraud and being paid by a billionaire who got the money for that financial fraud to get him off.
Hey, Robin, if I eat mini fingers, does that mean I could say I fingered myself?
Yes.
No.
Cool.
It depends on which orifice you put them in.
You're only allowed to say it in pubs on the west end of town.
All right.
He's so baked.
He really is.
I'm gonna get him beaten up.
Anyway, guys, I'm off. It's late.
Well, then get yourself in the fridge.
What?
You said you were off. Just like that dad joke.
Oh dear.
My favorite ever dad joke is a dad joke about a dad joke. Do you want to hear it?
You sure?
And it goes, a girl brings in a fella to meet the father. And he says to him, I want her home by 12 o'clock. And he goes, you already own her home. And he goes, if you don't sleep with him, I will.
I've also got a dad joke. Yeah. You know the Burj Khalifa, right? In Dubai, is it? Whatever.
Yeah, of course I do.
800 and
careful, racist joke incoming.
Or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's so high that if you jump from the top of it, you'll be falling for the rest of your life.
That sounds like heroin.
It kind of is, but yeah, we're building a tower that's taller than that.
Yeah,
should be open this year.
Anyway, bye guys.
Take it easy.
Laters.
Do you know what? Do you know what I see Bernie as?
Old?
No, I see Bernie as the entry to Star Trekism.
Really?
Okay. Well, we're not going to get a United Federation of Planets
honestly,
under it.
I mean, like really honestly.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay. Tell us why.
Do you really want to know why?
Why
do you keep encouraging him?
Why do you
Just
think
go like, yeah, of course, yeah, I see it too.
Why the hell do you think I do this show?
Why are you doing this to me?
Listen to it.
I'm not doing this to you. I'm doing this to everyone. So why is Bernie going to get us into space?
Not into space, but in like the ethos of the Enterprise, not the Enterprise, the
communist Gene Roddenberry,
Star Trek
the space commie bit.
Star Trek Federation, yeah.
Don't we need?
Because of his ethos and his principles, we could start living in a new golden age. It'd be great.
So hang on a second. You do realise that there's a bit in the story where there's this nuclear apocalypse?
No.
Yeah.
Can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
Yeah. So if you know, maybe you want to maybe just rewatch a few of the episodes, catch up on the story a bit on that one, mate.
Well, I'm talking obviously about the good bit where people are united.
Yeah, but that was because basically some crazy guy
I could play it for you.
had killed. Well, basically, we'd killed ourselves to the point where we were, completely fucked. There was hardly anyone on the planet, and there was enough resources for everyone to get their shit together. So we've all got to die first in order for those who survive to live and thrive like a phoenix from the ashes of humanity. Yes, let's beer.
So why then is Earth the headquarters of the United Federation of Planets? It doesn't actually make any sense. We sucked. We needed our help. They basically bailed us out.
It's always the new ones. That's how it works.
Although in the new Picard series, the Federation looks a bit corrupt.
Picard, sir, not Picard.
Picard.
Okay, that's cool.
It's not for smashing up rocks.
I mean, Starfleet Command was always a little bit they got it done, but they were slow, a little bureaucratic.
I reckon Picard's going to be basically lots of action actors just sort of doing all kinds of moves around him while he stands there looking shocked.
No, he does the action as well.
Oh, does he?
A little bit.
Does
he's
he really?
70 odd.
I know.
But he does. He's
know.
80 actually. He's 80.
Sit him down in a ship. You've got loads of other people there.
He looks tired when he's running, though. It's kind of funny.
Absolutely, they can do the legwork. He should be like the central computer in this particular role. He should be on that fucking ship, sat the fuck down, and doing goddamn nothing. And halfway through, when you actually have people starting to complain over the fact that he's not going on any away missions, you should have one of the members of staff ask him about it, and he kind of goes, I'm bloody 70, for God's sake, I ain't going out there. And then we'd all be fucking happy.
Yeah.
You just want Victor Meldrew in space.
I would like for Nigel Barrett to be a Google, Alexa, iPhone, Microsoft, whatever assistant voice. That's all I want. The
I don't want
computer.
any. I don't want any of those assistances in my house.
Bernie Sanders is speaking my language. He's trying to like close down on the loopholes.
He's speaking
gun
English, of
stuff.
course. I mean,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
He's speaking the language of English, but
Yes.
describing the things that I like.
Is this how he's going to win? To bring us into space communism?
Yeah.
I'm really
what-
glad he's happy with all of the Europeans who can't vote in our election. That's excellent.
We should get a say, really.
Well, it's
Why?
the only way that I'm
It
going to
does
get
affect
into
us
a
all.
sunny place that speaks English with healthcare.
ah well.
Why
That's
should
Canada.
you get a say, Robin?
Canada's very sunny.
Yeah.
Some places in Canada can be
Yeah,
sunny,
but
like Vancouver
Canada-
in the summer.
Canada
is hot.
produced like Justin Bieber and Lauren Southern. So.
Look, that's not their fault.
Do
We-
we need to
we
go through
pro-
the kind of junk that America has produced?
We produced Jade
Yeah.
Goody, so what the fuck are we supposed
Yeah,
to
for
say?
real.
You know? At least she got cancer. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
everyone produces that eventually.
Yeah, she certainly did.
She got cancer of the kebab, didn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you guys made it Katie Hopkins a thing, so.
Yup.
Katie Hopkins. Jesus fucking Christ. She should have been an East End whore.
Do you know what I think is going to happen? The same thing's going to happen that happened to Corbyn. To Bernie.
I mean, it's already happening.
You're having a lot of epiphanies tonight, aren't you?
He's gonna be shot. He's gonna be Corbyn. He's gonna be
Murderfied. He's gonna win. He's gonna
Worst
take
of
over the
all
world. He's gonna turn the whole world into a
He's gonna
into a
win this murdered
communist
and corpse united.
dictatorship. But it'll be nice.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be nice.
It's all the things. He's gonna do all the things.
Yeah.
All that in a bag of chips.
No, chips are banned.
It's
They're not
always
healthy.
the only problem with people who want to unite everybody is that they've got to get everybody to agree.
Yeah, but you can't
Yes.
unite with racists. That's the problem. That's the problem.
No, the whole issue I have with those go like #unity is that this is an election season and you have people competing against each other. Like imagine this in any other competition. Like, oh yeah, it's the World Cup. All the soccer teams are walking into a field and go like, unity. We shouldn't fight against each other. We should just like all hang out. No,
Do you
it's a
know what-
competition for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Do you know what should decide the presidency? Right? It should be like WWE where you get both of them in a ring and they start like bitching about each other. I think, and then they start fighting and wrestling.
Yeah, but then you know, but what if a trans person gets in there, and then you have the day where everybody's go like, a trans person should be in there fighting against other women? Well,
Fucking hell.
No, it's just like the whole scene of like the unity stuff. I'm just like, that's not what used to happen. Like it's
I think it should be
basically-
left up to the Olympic authorities to decide. It's not really a political issue.
Oh, everything is politicized these days. Everything.
But the thing is, here's the thing that I heard about politics, and I don't know if it's true, but it's an adage. You don't care about politics, but politics will always care about you, because
Okay.
you can't escape society.
Okay,
Society
we've
gets
got.
molded by politics.
I'm just going to give you a few lists of the offences that have been pardoned. Okay,
What's that got to do with it?
From Trump.
Uh-huh.
So we've got criminal contempt of court, unauthorized possession and retention of national defense information, perjury, 2 counts, obstruction of justice and false statements, violation of the Mann Act, which is
What the fuck is the Mann Act?
white slavery.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
the White Slave Trafficking Act. Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently,
that's an international crime.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
something
that was September the 14th. United States.
something that the
fuck?
UN would just chase you around the world for.
Seems like they're burying the lead on that one a little bit.
That's so weird. Why is that in there?
Yeah, no kidding.
Sentencing date hang on a second. 1920.
Huh.
Wow, who was that? 1920?
Someone in your chat says they've got a boner for Lauren Southern, which is worrying.
No, listen. I would actually fuck Lauren Southern because it's a funny image to have a brown man fuck a white nationalist.
But she's done it before.
Yeah, but you do it again. You stream it. That's just.
Are
that's
you gonna do the whole like trying to convert a lesbian straight thing and just be like?
That's you. Listen, that entire footage of Lauren Southern being fucked by a brown dude. That's just YouTube gold. You monetize it, buddy. You just have to monetize it.
What? You're gonna do like a pay-per-view or something?
Of course.
Yeah, carrying on. So we've got white slavery, apparently, campaign violation, campaign finance violations, arson, assault and unpremeditated murder, mail fraud and attempted obstruction of justice, racketeering, conversion of government property, transporting marijuana, worked at an illegal gambling parlor, drug trafficking and fraud, conspiracy to steal firearms and other goods as part of an interstate shipment, theft from shipment in interstate commerce, theft of firearms shipped in interstate commerce. Somebody smuggling goods across the border, it seems. Conspiracy to violate the Sherman Antitrust Act, anti-competitive practices.
What is this list for?
This is all of the pardons that Trump has dished out over his tenure so far.
That's fucked. He's just given like his mates a pass, basically.
General Court Martial for the U.S. had Matthew L. Goldswin for premeditated murder. He was let off.
Fuck.
Murder, 2 counts. Attempted murder, reckless endangerment, witness tampering, and obstructions of justice.
Is he like the Don? Is he like the mafia guy?
This is somebody called
Yes, he's Don Donald.
Clint Lawrence, who was convicted of murdering 2 civilians in Afghanistan. He was later championed by the House of Representatives and Fox News personalities.
Meh.
Misprision of felony.
Do you know what offends me the most? Giving Rush Limbaugh the Lifetime Peace Award.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just to trigger the libs.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. It's just bizarro. And this last stint, we've got Edward J. D. Bartello Jr., who was convicted of misprision of felony, which apparently was false imprisonment. $250,000 fine, 2 years of probation, payment of $350,000 restitution. It was a bribery case, apparently. And then we've got Michael Milken. This was the financier pardoned based on charitable work after release from prison. Lifetime ban on security trade continues. This was conspiracy, securities fraud, mail fraud, tax fraud, filing false reports with the Securities and Exchange Commission, assisting a brokerage firm in violating its net capital requirements. $600 million fine, 2 years imprisonment.
$600 million.
That's a lot of dollars.
Look, Robin, who among us have not filed false reports with the Securities and Exchange Commission?
It's like,
I mean, yeah, it's like, jaywalking, fraud. What's the difference? Like, it's the same thing,
It's all the same.
perjury, obstruction of justice, false tax returns, including like half
White
a billion.
slavery.
Yeah, like
it's the same. It's...
$500,000 in restitutions.
What the fuck, man?
Obstruction of administration, internal revenue laws, just like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just letting them off.
He probably said, "Hey, if you get people to vote for me, I'll do you favors. I'm like Uncle Don."
Yeah,
he
is
can come to
literally
me.
doing it like that now, openly, like Al Capone kind of style.
Yeah.
And everyone's so incredulous that this is happening, and they just don't know how to deal with it. It seems. You don't see them dealing with it, do you?
You do.
I don't.
You do not.
You do not see them
don't.
dealing with it. There is no dealing being done.
Nuh-uh.
No. That's kind of worrying, isn't it?
None there.
Yeah. Aren't you guys supposed to do something about this? Well, we were gonna. Right? So, when's that happening?
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen, man? If he stays in, they're gonna take over Cuba.
They're gonna do the Duba.
You are fucked.
Oh yes.
He's
oh
fucked,
yes.
mate. This one's proper fucked. He's off his
You didn't
tits.
notice?
This one's off his tits.
I feel like I've been given Joker's like laughing gas and I'm just constantly chilling.
What kind? He had various gases.
The ones that made you smile all the time.
Oh, I mean, he had the same kind of gas in so many comic book stories. So, some of them, like, you would die afterwards. Some of them would give you like this permanent smile, and you become part of his gang. And I don't understand that. Like, laughing gas. I'm a criminal now. But hey, comic book. Comic book logic is weird.
Comic book logic is weird. Does little weird things. Hells yeah.
I said hells yeah.
I just playing a gacha game and I got a character that I wanted.
Yeah. Good for you. Yay for Team A.
Yeah, boy.
So I suppose it's that time of day. The conversation's drawing down, as you can hear now, guys. So this is the bit where I think you lot have had enough. So we'll call that quit, shall we? How's that for an outro?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll just carry on talking bollocks and not boring anybody.
Yeah, I mean,
At this point, we're just gonna play a bunch of games now, isn't it? Really. So yeah, much love, everyone, and see you on the flip. Chitty bye.
Bye, everybody.
So what's the off button?